Spring into a new home with amazing savings at TR Hughes. Hi, I'm Jason Hughes with TR Hughes Homes, and we are currently offering half off up to $40,000 in options and up to $5,000 in closing costs on brand new to-be-built homes at select TR Hughes communities. That's right, half up to $40,000 in options and up to $5,000 in closing costs. Visit trhughes.com for details.
The choice of a home builder is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
However, you really should visit trhughes.com.
Rise and shine, St. Louis. It's the Brown and Crouppen Morning After with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne, and Jackson Burkett on 101 ESPN.
7 o'clock in St. Louis. You are listening to TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and on YouTube. It's youtube.com/TMASTL. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you on the program. Jackson's putting the YouTube channel up. Seems like that was kind of a way to say, I don't want to talk about the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. That's how I took it, Martin. I don't know how you took it.
I took it the exact same way. What was it? Oh, the YouTube chat, yes.
Yeah, it's just
100%.
very
Martin's out on the YouTube chat, too. Oh, Doug, you're wearing your TMA hoodie. I just noticed.
I am, yeah. Yeah.
Tim, I saw something online.
What do you got?
And it said, the haters will always broadcast your mistakes, yet they whisper your victories.
Ooh, wow. Who said that?
I don't know. It was on Twitter. Anonymous.
That's if they whisper it at all.
They broadcast your failures and whisper your success. So, that's how I'm going to view all the negativity out there.
I don't know where the negativity is going to come from, but you can
Here it
spread
comes.
it. 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service sponsor of the text inbox. And Doug, after a long weekend, you always like to go to the Collier and Thompson phone lines and see what the word is.
Oh, we got a caller already?
314-974-010. I just kind of operate on the premise that Pestis is always there.
Okay.
You can call in 314-974-0101. Hunchback of On Castle was ready. Jackson, the Loves logo on the OKC uniform is hideous. That's from the Hunchback of On Castle. Doug, Thunder, Wolves. Think about it.
I guess Jackson has to answer for that, why the logo's so
Some
bad.
good hoop rock last night.
Yeah, always some good hoop rock.
Always. Even when it's a 50-point loss or win. Otherwise, it's...
Game 3 was rough. The branding on uniforms sometimes can be like great synergy. Like when Disney was the sponsor of the Orlando Magic, perfect. General Electric sponsor of the Celtics, perfect.
Stiefel, sponsor of the Dossier Cardinals Blues uniforms.
Perfect.
Why was General Electric perfect for the Celtics?
It just looked really sharp on their uniform, I thought. But then you see some and this is no shot at the company, but like Quick Trip on the Royals, it doesn't look great at all. It doesn't look great. It looks kind of weird.
I had that on my notes for last week, never got to it.
Yeah, Quick Trip on the Royals uniform looks funky. So,
too prominent.
Yeah, you never know.
Anheuser-Busch and the Cardinals, that's kind of a perfect little pairing.
But I'm talking about like the ones that's on the uniform, the actual branding on the uniform. Like Stiefel looks good on the
You pissed that Doug's not listening to you?
Stiefel on the
selective.
like on the Blues helmets.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Perfect.
All right.
We'll take your uniform calls.
Okay.
Hunchback of On Castle had that Oklahoma City Thunder take loaded up over the weekend, and he fired it right at Jackson right out of the gate.
Cool by me, man. I just like the people are involved.
It's uniform-esque. Did you see the hat Holiday was wearing yesterday? It's a large M with a period next to it. Does he have his own line of merch?
M-Dot. Oh, I like
M-Dot.
that. M-Dot.
It's just a giant M with a dot.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I was asking.
Jackson, is it a tribute to K-Dot?
I honestly, was this on the broadcast?
This was on
Sweet Mother of Mercy.
I wasn't watching the
Well,
game.
we actually, I believe, was it producer Roman yesterday? Yes, found the shot, but I believe it was on the MASN, like the Baltimore broadcast.
Doug, is that Mid-Atlantic Sports
That's
Network?
fine by me. I don't know.
Yeah. Jim Palmer's been calling games for 90 years.
God, he has.
And he looks great. But yeah, he was wearing, Leslie and Matt were at the game watching Jackson, not this Jackson, the other one.
Jim Palmer was all-state in 3 sports in high school. Do you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Water polo.
Water polo.
Like football,
Racquetball?
basketball, and
Oh.
baseball. I think he was all-state in all 3 sports. I just remember that from the back of his baseball card. But go ahead with your fun little story.
No, that's it. I was crowdsourcing what the M dot, and I didn't know.
Could it be Maryland?
I don't know. It was a very unique look. Like Tim wears a hat that just says T dot.
I do. Yeah. I ripped that off of Kendrick Lamar. Matt Holliday ripped it off of Kendrick Lamar. That's what it
Is
is.
that right? Okay.
Jackson is. I can tell you're. I feel like
looking it up?
Jackson's in
Well,
research mode.
I'm
That's the
trying to find
vibe I'm
it.
picking up.
I'm not honestly privy to the MASN broadcast of Cardinal games.
Well, you don't have to find. That's fine.
Well, I want to comment. Whatever. It's not.
Libby Jack Probs enjoyed and Juliet right up his alley. Women love to woo. That's from Chairman Stephen Wildwood.
I did have a fun time.
Doug, as you know, Jackson went to the theater on Saturday for his
That's right.
love interest's birthday, and they saw a production called And Juliet. It is a takeoff on Romeo and Juliet. Was that the Montagues and the Capulets?
Indeed.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was fun. A lot of fun. Going to the Fox is always fun. It was a packed house.
What was it?
Were you guys the youngest people there?
No, certainly not. I mean, maybe on the younger side of couples there.
Yeah.
But there were children there. And,
Children, really?
well, children, 14, 15 years old. A lot of fun. Singing and dancing. Tough to beat on a Saturday night.
How was the pregame meal?
At Antonino's?
Yeah.
Delicious.
Did the general manager take care of you because you're associated with this powerful, powerful show?
Got us a table. That's all I needed.
Did you have the toasted ravioli?
Oh, we had the toasted ravioli.
Describe them to me, boy.
You can tell they take a lot of care into the breading. I think a lot of places are haphazard with their breading, you know? Just like,
Haphazard breading.
yeah, you know, like, whatever, just bread it
There's
with
a guy in
anything.
back
These
smoking.
tubbies will enjoy it.
Just says, hey, today don't worry so much about the breading.
Ash is the dart in the breading. Not there. They take care of it there. And then the sauce is so key, and it was really good sauce.
The breading and the sauce.
Would you say at any point during the evening you were just kicking it old school?
Yeah, it felt like that at the Fox. That's some kicking it old school. It was fun.
Did the toaster really smack?
Yeah, they smacked.
I once sat in the exit row of a Southwest flight to Las Vegas next to Isaiah Peed. He talked to me for over an hour about how he wanted to start his own clothing line, which he was going to call I Peed, like iPad, he kept saying. I can't believe that didn't take off. Doug, that's from Madison Hedgecock, one of his teammates.
Okay. Pete was a running back his own self, right?
And he went on to run for 1,800 yards
Maybe in sandlot ball.
Sadly, I think,
not in
did
the
he
NFL.
lose his leg?
I thought he lost it, but I think it was kind of a comeback story because he competed in the Olympics in an event.
You went to a musical. Did you sub for her afterwards? That's from Wedding Tackle.
That's a rational thing to say.
Did you sub for her? What does that even mean? Like substitute in and out like the Thunder and the T-Wolves.
I guess.
And the Knicks and the Pacers. And what a series that is. We'll talk about it for an hour coming up.
I will say that-
Knicks look dead. They came back.
Yeah, back from the dead. I wish people there was a little bit more like people dressing up for the theater. I know, like being casual, and I love being casual. Look,
That's why I dressed up today.
I know it's because it's fun, you know, to get yourself all gussied up. But I just wish that there was a little bit more. And I'm not blaming anyone. I get it. Trust me, being casual is
What's the
much more
worst
comfortable.
outfit you saw?
Oh, just T-shirt and baggy jeans.
Zumbas.
That's bad.
It's just I don't know.
You don't like the pores, do you?
No, it's not about. I mean,
You can't be poor if you're dropping $100 a ticket to go to the Fox.
I just think, it's like it's the one time you're going to the theater. I know it's a musical. It's not like you're going to Phantom of the Opera. But I don't know.
Glad we're now supporting the arts on this dump of a presentation. That's from former TMA fan page moderator Neil Allen Craig Paquette. Like Neil Allen Alan Craig. Craig Puckett.
Okay.
Oh, with a crime. Support the arts.
This dump of a presentation. I'm not going to let you whisper our success.
Chairman Stephen Wildwood, who won our Listener of the Year in 2023, says, "We have season tickets to the Fox. Amen, Jackie. Hat and jeans. Nah, dude." That's from Chairman Steve.
Yeah, ball cap, too. A lot of ball caps.
I agree.
We can do
You want to class it up when you go to the theater.
And it's not even like, I just think like if there's one time where you get dressed up, I think the perfect time is when you're going to the Fox Theater. It feels wrong to be there in shorts.
Yeah,
and
you don't have to wear a
shorts.
coat and tie everywhere.
No.
But you can take the casual thing too far.
Agreed.
Jackson was in Libby Heaven at a lame Gen Z musical. Everyone probably had blue hair and COVID masks.
Yeah,
Oh, did they?
American Central.
Were there a lot of masks?
There are a lot of masks.
Yeah, and he would have walked in there and started weeping. He would have been so upset. Or as some call it, triggered.
Jackie Papers is loaded for bear. Well, I'm glad that you were taking care of an Antonino's and you had delicious toasted ravioli because, Doug, some people are haphazard with their breading.
I know, and that's disappointing. But they're not at Antonino's.
No, not there, man.
They are anything but hap with their hazards.
YouTube.com/TMASTL. Our Stiefel dossier today starts off with, your guest is Brad Thompson, 9:30. Cardinals series wins, Doug. 10 wins, 6 losses, 1 split after a sweep of the Snakes over the weekend.
Okay.
And they're loaded for bear in Baltimore. Hello again, everybody.
Well, hello. It was a nice series win over Arizona. That really doesn't matter. What matters is they got 3 wins.
But on Saturday, did you go with the family and pop a cork? Because they won the series on Saturday.
I did not.
Heck of a win.
Yeah.
Heck of a win. Celebrate.
Yeah, Arizona's a pretty good team. They've kind of cooled off here lately. They got off to a really good start. And now it's just a 500 ball club. But it's still a great series to sweep.
Doug, are you taking questions?
I could take a quick one.
Boy, he
Okay.
doesn't
Not
usually, Martin, so this is big for you.
So Randall Grichuk was in town.
Oh.
And I thought to myself, isn't there a whole Doug Grichuk thing? And I didn't quite, honestly, because I haven't hit that season yet.
That was season 11.
Season 11. And it seemed, from what I recall, that Grichuk kind of played along with the whole audience thing, that they were all over Doug. Like Grichuk bought into it
And said he wanted to go hot tubbing with Doug.
I don't know that he said those exact words.
Jackson can play it back for you to remind you.
He said he wanted to go hot tubbing, like we were going to bounce around to several different
I can
locations.
picture sitting at the picnic table in Jupiter, Florida, right before Lance Lynn wanted to set it on fire with jet fuel. And Randall Grichuk was a guest, and I think some of the listeners might have been able to watch through a device called Pocket Tube. I would recommend buying that stock.
Okay.
And they were attracted to Randall. They're always attracted to you, and they thought it might be nice if you guys could go out and maybe go to the theater and dress up. And then somebody suggested you go hot tubbing, and Randall Grichuk played along, Martin.
So the audience suggested it.
You thought I suggested
No,
it?
I didn't think you suggested it.
No.
But I did sort of wonder in your TV duties, you're down at the ballpark. Was it awkward seeing Randall? Like, hey, I know people think we should be hot tubbing. Can I just get a quick soundbite?
No.
Did he
It was
ever
not-
talk about it on the TV side?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Career earnings, Randall Grichuk.
Ooh, nice question.
32 million.
I'm going to go high over.
A lot higher.
over.
Really?
I'm going to go 75 million.
Too high. Sorry. 57.
Okay.
How about that?
I have dyslexia.
Well, that's nice. Because I think you'd have to say he's an average major leaguer? He's about average? A little better than average? Longer career
He'll
than
probably,
average?
he'll probably end up playing 10, 15 years.
Yeah, well, that's
Career
not average.
homers.
Yeah, that's better. Did you say career homers?
Career home runs.
I'll
for
say
Randall Grichuk.
about 100.
I'll go 112.
I was going to go 150.
God, 205.
Wow. Really?
So I think he's better than an average.
Oh, he is, definitely, yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that's better than average.
Made a bunch of money in Toronto.
Yeah, he is kind of fell off the radar for me anyway when he left St. Louis, but yeah, that's much better than
You
average.
two had a split.
Much better than average career. Sorry, I said that.
Man Love says, I agree with Doug. Randall Grichuk does have the best ass in baseball. That's from Man Love.
Agrees with me.
It is the problem with this show. That I can't.
You've narrowed it down to one.
That Randall Grichuk has an at-bat at Busch, and I immediately think, wasn't there a weird thing with him and Doug? And I couldn't remember it.
It was not a
into your
weird thing.
brain, and it's omnipresent.
It was just like the tuna fish sandwich thing. I had one tuna fish sandwich, and then the narrative becomes all he ever eats is tuna. Tuna fish Vaughn.
Charlie said it was several days in a row.
Might have been 2 days in a row.
Oh, okay. Story's shifting, Tim.
There is something to that, though. If you have a good sandwich and it just really hits the spot, and you're hungry the next day, you're like, that tuna fish did hit the spot yesterday, and I'm right by it. I don't blame you.
I'm currently in a peanut butter and jelly mode.
The best.
Oh, is that right? You enjoy it?
It's one of the best, in-between snacks. In between, a lunch and dinner, it's a perfect snack.
As long as you don't overdo it with the peanut butter, because then it becomes dry and it'll get stuck in your...
It's true.
Yeah.
But sometimes what do you do when you overeat? You say you crush it to try to justify your ability to discipline yourself?
Hammered some PB&J.
I crushed multiple peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Multiple?
Multiple, yeah.
Like how many multiple?
2.
Oh, God.
You making them yourself or are these Uncrustables?
I don't do manual labor. I graduated from SLU.
Whole wheat bread, I hope.
Yeah, it is.
The staff prepares it.
There's a staff.
There is a moment when you're an adult when you rediscover PB&J. Because as a kid, you eat it all the time.
I think that's it, Martin.
Or peanut butter and mayonnaise. Have you tried that, Martin?
That's Doug's big recommendation.
Nice.
Sounds very unhealthy.
No, well.
Surprise recommendation
not exactly
from Doug.
health food, but it's good.
Guys, do you agree the Cardinals had the all-star ass team when they had Grichuk, Bader, and O'Neill?
Okay, stop it. Stop
Any
it.
team without John Jay is an answer is taken off the board.
Quit it.
I mean, the 21st century, we can mess around, but that's number one.
What's number one?
Don't play coy.
About his rear?
Yeah.
Cut off.
Oh, my goodness.
Everyone
this
knows.
is hardcore sports
Literally,
talk.
everybody knows that we're all going to dance around it. He was the best. And he was a great outfielder, too.
It's going to be awkward when you go down to the ballpark.
Yeah, he does it.
And you say he. You mean John Jay knows it?
I assume.
He knows what you think of his backside?
No, what people do. I'm just relaying what the people think.
The Cardinals can't go a day without playing a former outfielder. That's unbelievable. You had Grichuk over the weekend, and then Carlson dings him on Monday, but he was only in the lineup because Tyler O'Neill was out injured. I'm like, it's unbelievable, the string of former Cardinals.
You'll see Garcia here in a couple days.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to see. Doug, it's just a little tour.
I know. 3-1 homer for Carlson. He hadn't done anything all year.
Tyler O'Neill, by the way, Doug, is on the injured list.
Well, Whitey
Yes.
Herzog would tell him he's too strong, too muscular.
Well, I looked
Eat a
at
steak.
his injuries are left shoulder impingement. He previously was on the IL with neck inflammation. Don't those sound a bit like working out issues?
It could be, yeah.
Stop working out, fella.
Look at me, I work out.
Well, that's Charlie's version of Jeff Abrams.
I guess it made him a major leaguer, and so now he doesn't want to give up on it.
Nice fella.
Brown Crouppen makes this program possible. Online at brownandcrouppen.com or by calling 314-222-2222. Founded in 1979 right here in St. Louis, and they are local through and through. And if you are in need of a personal injury attorney, you're going to want somebody who knows the local environment, the ins and outs of your cases. That's Brown and Crouppen with superior legal services, valuing client services as well. Brown and Crouppen, a part of the St. Louis community. They value the St. Louis community. Brown and Crouppen is going to give you great service and great results. They are the winningest and kindest you are going to find. 314-222-2222 or go to brownandcrouppen.com and make sure you let them know you heard about it on TMA. Remember, the choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising. Past results are no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own accord. Stiefel Dossier with Brad Thompson joining the program, and our Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. And down the stretch they come. JV golf coach, self-made stay-at-home Ladue mom, Buck Swope. They can still catch Jerry Big Tank Del Vecchio, but their time is short. We're in studio the next 2 days, and then we're at the Dotem on Thursday and Friday for ball striking. That means 4 more shows in the month of May. Will it be Jerry Big Tank Del Vecchio's time? Also, you can go to TMASTL.com and sign up to be our listener of the month. That's at TMASTL.com. And And good news, even though Doug is pro-doxing, you can maintain your anonymity and still be the TMA listener of the month.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, TMASTL.com is where you can sign up to be that listener of the month. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne with you. The program's called TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMASTL YouTube channel.
I'm happy to announce that we have negotiated a trade deal.
Is it with China?
Oh, is it Europe? No, it's the Frank Lita Automotive Outlet in Bridgeton.
It's a trade buyout. You can get thousands over book value for any trade-in. Thousands. He's right, even if you still owe.
But what about down payments?
Every vehicle is just one dime down. A dime. New vehicles with a lifetime warranty, priced under $20,000 and payments under $300 a month. Acres of the hottest pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, all makes, all models, and most come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
I need credit.
Just ask for credit amnesty. If you've got a job and a dime, you ride. Plus, you could get thousands over current book value for any trade-in.
And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to the trade buyout.
At the Frank Lita Automotive Outlet
in Bridgeton.
YesLita.com.
YesLita.com.
New 24 Mirage, 19,675, dime down, $290 a month, 72 months at 2% APR, plus tax tag title to qualified buyers.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset. Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation at 314-569-1050. Again, that's 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters.
ESPN has your chance to win a pair of passes to Holiday World and Splash and Safari, celebrating 25 years of free unlimited soft drinks. Make the most of your family's summer with a trip to Holiday World and Splash and Safari, the water coaster capital of the world. Find more details and enter to win free passes to Holiday World and Splash and Safari right now at 101ESPN.com or your 101 mobile app.
Eric Fetty. Colorado Rockies. This puts it in perspective, doesn't it?
It does. Charlie Morton had been 0-7 with an ERA over 7, but he handcuffed our Redbirds.
Feels like he's been around forever.
I believe the gentleman's 41.
Is he?
Doug, you want the over? Do you want the under? Or do you want to buy 41?
I've seen he's 41.
You are on that?
Yeah.
41 it is. You just shipped your bankroll. Congratulations. The Cardinals losing yesterday in Baltimore. They are 3 back of the Chicago Cubs, who, while the Cardinals have been red hot in the month of May, the Cubs have been on a heater as of late themselves. 33-21. And you know what 33-21 is? The second best record in the National League. That's the Chicago Cubs. Cardinals 30-24 after the loss yesterday, fresh off the sweep of the Diamondbacks.
Cardinals are only 3 games behind the Dodgers record, which is the same as the Cubs. Think about that. The Dodgers. It's a long season, Doug. Nothing's been decided.
No.
I don't know what the Vaughn Index says, but the Cardinals are only 3 games back of L.A.
I'll check the Vaughn
Hard
Index.
to believe.
Let's see. Their winning percentage is now .556, so the Vaughn Index would be a 3. It'd be a 3.
A 3, which is also how many games behind the Cubs.
Well,
Just so
I guess
happens.
in this case, yeah, that's the way it works out.
Nice little sweep over Arizona. Good comeback on Saturday. Jordan Walker.
Entertaining games. How about the ballpark? Ballpark's buzzing. Ballpark's buzzing. Anybody go to any games over the weekend? Anybody. Martin, you were at the Battlehawks. I know that was...
Battlehawks Friday night on assignment, so I missed out on the Arenado bases clearing triple that night, and then we had to go to a funeral in Southern Illinois, so I listened on Saturday.
Oh, a Jim Dandy.
As the ball dropped,
and
I thought, oh, what a terrible loss. That's what I was saying to myself, Doug. And then they came back again. The squad is resilient.
Jordan Walker.
A couple of big knocks.
That's probably the biggest story of the weekend is the fans are back, or at least they appeared to be for a day or two anyway. That was really great to see. I think they announced 37,000, but the stadium looked like it was mostly filled up, which is great compared to, where they were just a week or two ago.
And they're winning at home. They're 19-8 at home. Makes a difference. You go, you have an experience like Friday or Saturday, which were exciting games. Arenado falling into the stands. That's like his new thing. That's happened twice this month. Remember earlier this month he landed on a family and the wife was mad? He said the dad was okay with it, but the mom was mad at him.
I didn't get the rule where they got to advance a base.
There is a specific rule made out for that.
Whether you're in fair territory or foul territory.
There is a specific rule for that. For the record, on attendance, 36,437 on Sunday, 37,380 on Saturday. And then the game that really had the best weather and best forecast, 34,214. And I think if the Cardinals would have been told in the middle of April that they would have that for that 3-game series against the Diamondbacks, they would have happily taken it.
Yeah. That's huge for them. And I hope it continues that way. I mean, this is what we have in the summer, right? What else we got going on besides Cardinal baseball here?
Six Flags.
From now, well, Six Flags will take a few, especially that water park. The log fume is an attraction. But nonetheless, this is what we have in St. Louis. It's all we have.
It's all we have.
And for
Come on down. This is all we have.
For that to fall apart, for the Cardinal attendance to fall apart, that would have really, that's terrible for the city. It's horrible for the city.
I do think it was an interesting point, a texter, and I believe it was Friday, who said, I'm glad my parents took me to games when I was a kid instead of now being told we're protesting Mo. What if a 9 or 10-year-old little kid said, I'd like to go to a ball game? Nope, we're protesting. Do you think that conversation is taking place?
No, it didn't take place in my house.
Ask Jackson. We have theater and restaurants here. That's from former fan page moderator Neil Allen Craig Paquette. Doug, he's coming at you.
I guess
theater.
You can do the theater.
Evil Calvin's coming at you. Cards are not even in a playoff spot. Quit drinking a Kool-Aid. That's from Evil Calvin.
They're a game out of the wild card?
They always set the playoffs, though, Doug, in late May.
Would the Evil Calvin ask negative questions? Tony, would you say that's one of the worst efforts you've ever seen? I like the idea that Evil Calvin would be down there saying like hard-hitting but just really cutting and mean things. Would you say you dropped that ball because you're overweight?
But,
Doug.
Tiki, are you coming back to football because you miss it, or are you coming back to football because you just had a big failure in broadcasting?
That's a bad question.
That's Evil Calvin.
How was that question answered?
Got a little awkward.
Yeah.
Got a little awkward. I do a lot of coke in the summer, Doug. It's a great habit, especially when you play golf. That's from Man Love.
No, it isn't.
Thanks for trashing our city, Doug. That's from Taint Slap.
Well, what's the other big events that are going on in our city in the summer? What else we got besides Cardinal baseball that I'm missing?
Six Flags.
Okay, I mentioned the log flume. Yes,
Theater.
Mr. Freeze is okay.
Anthoninos. They're not haphazard with their breading.
They're not. Concerts left and right.
Yeah, concerts left and right.
Okay, so you're gonna not go to Cardinal baseball games because there's a concert on Friday night?
But there's a lot of people who would, select going to a concert.
Doug, never been on a float trip? That's from the...
Not if I can help it. I've been on a few, but now that I'm old enough, I can help it, so I don't go anymore.
Never.
So you're saying you were taken hostage as a young man?
I went along with it. It'll be fun, they said. There'll be no snakes, they said. There was both no fun to be had, and there were snakes.
Yeah, I'm so out on float trips.
I'm not going back.
Oh, they're so bad.
The zoo is free. It's in the 636.
I
You're
did
about
that.
to get talked down
I went
for
to
the
the
rest
zoo
of the show.
Friday.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Oh, what?
Free.
You see the polar bear?
Saw 2 sleeping polar bears.
They have 2 now?
Well, they were right next to each other. I assume that was 2 of them.
I didn't know they had 2. I thought they just had one Callie. That's cool.
Yeah.
It also helps that school's out now. Even if the team wasn't playing well, attendance always gets better after school's out. That's from the 314.
Well, that's very true.
But I don't think there would be the energy in the ballpark if the team wasn't as good as they're playing right now.
And in years past, even when school was still going, they didn't have the kind of crowds they had in the first month of the season here this year.
Guys, Clabe said on Cam Wex on Friday night that there were 21,000 in the ballpark. They're inflating the attendance numbers with the tickets sold, not tickets distributed. That's from Brad in Boca.
Well, we know that to be the case, but all you had to do is look at the crowd on TV to see that there was a lot
Friday
more
was
people.
the leanest of the bunch, and then Saturday, Sunday, the day games.
They had big crowds there Saturday and Sunday.
I'm telling you, next week, I would expect some big crowds. Operating on the premise that they don't go on some big skid here, I think that they will have an opportunity to really get some big crowds. You're going to have the Dodgers coming up over the weekend. And the Royals coming to town. Got the random 4-game in the middle of the week Cubs series coming up in June, too.
I wonder if it's better to put the Cubs in the middle of the week because it'll draw as opposed to a weekend that draws because it's a weekend.
I agree with you.
Although I prefer a Cub weekend, but I bet you it's better math.
And the Cardinals only go to Wrigley on the 4th of July and then the end of September, which is kind of a bad beat.
Yeah. And the Royals are here during the week, too.
Yeah, that's what I said. So I think it's strategic. I agree with the strategy you're implying, Martin. I think
you're going to draw fans whether the Cubs play during the week or weekend, so why not put them during the week?
But it is more fun on the weekend, but it's probably smarter to put them during the week.
Big homestand starting a week from today. Royals 3, Dodgers 3, Blue Jays 3. Then off to Milwaukee and Chicago before coming home to take on the Reds over the weekend, and then 4 against the Cubs. So you can have a lot of home games, and that could be an opportunity, if they continue to play well, to have some big attendance numbers.
Well, and like I said, I hope that they do. It's just more fun when the stadium's filled up. It looks like it's important. When there's nobody at the games, it looks like the games don't matter that much. At least that's the impression I always get.
And after the sweep on Sunday, they were 16-4 over their 20-game stretch. That'll get people re-engaged. And you've got, for the most part, different pieces contributing, pitching's continued to be really good for the most part.
Yeah. When you have good starting pitching, you can contend. And right now, they've got good starting pitching. They got very good starting pitching.
Not to be negative, but I was looking up Gorman's stats last night. He's hitting 138 in May.
Okay.
He hit 143 in April.
You just playing with numbers, bro?
His last home run was in March.
Okay.
In March.
So that's a concern.
Yeah. He had 2 hits yesterday.
He's just
But yeah, I don't know how long you go with it. I don't know.
Well, it was convenient because Arenado couldn't play because he was left breathless, Tim. Hitting a rib, landing in the stands. So then Gorman had to play on Monday. But yeah, that's a concern.
I was at the zoo Friday, and Mr. Licks had his face painting stand set up. That's from the Warson Woods Wacko. I don't know, Mr. Licks face paints at the zoo?
I saw a few
Doug?
artists, but I don't know that I saw Lick's face painting.
You got to respect the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah. I would have gotten my face painted for sure had I known he was there.
St. Louis. Doug's right. We've lost a baseball team, 2 football teams, and a basketball team. The zoo is not free. We tout a large metal arch as a symbol of the West, but it's really only a gateway to despair. That's from the 618.
How can you say the zoo is not free when it's free?
It's a hot take.
You can even park for free around back.
Would you ever take kids there? All of a sudden, you're buying a $20 Slurpee, then you got to ride the train.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
Shut up, Brad. I was there Friday night, and that place went bonkers. It's the loudest I've heard the stadium in 2 years. That's Big Worm responding to Brad and Boca.
Okay.
They're sideways.
Big Worm?
Big Worm, with an exclamation point,
Okay.
I should note. By the way, a week from today, Little Jackie Papers will be updating names in the text inbox. So if you don't have a name, you can get a name. And that's always a tough week for Jackson. It's challenging.
It's time-consuming,
But it's worth it.
There it is. Yeah.
It costs taxpayers money, so it's not free.
Oh, gosh.
In the 314.
God. How do you people
So
live
Rose
sometimes,
and-
man?
How do you people live sometimes?
So
I'm a
angry.
man.
Not free. You have to pay. We pay for a lot of things.
He would prefer that the zoo charge you $50.
Right.
Some zoos do that.
Yeah, most.
Yeah.
After Jimmy Buffett died, there were all these tributes online, and somebody said, oh, he was a flaming lib, and he really didn't believe in that lifestyle. He was actually working hard while telling all of you to party. And somebody just posted, I bet you're fun at parties.
Yeah, no, that's the classic response. It's like, jeez, bro.
That's a good time to rip someone right after they die. Lived a fantastic life, entertained millions of people. That's the time to rip them.
Zoo's not free. Yeah, you're fun at parties. Yeah.
Jackson, I'm Jake in St. Genevieve. Can I get a damn name? That's from the 314.
Yeah, and asking like that
With that
certainly will
attitude,
help.
yeah. I'd say no.
June 1st.
Guys, I spent the weekend in beautiful Sullivan, Missouri. It's the above-ground pool capital of Franklin County. That's from Connie Lassiter and Greg Bickle. Doug, they have one of those joint accounts.
Okay. Above-ground pool is not the worst thing in the world. What is the worst thing in the world?
What is the worst thing in the world?
Disease, famine, war.
There's some pretty quick answers.
Yeah.
Nice, Jackson.
They're all certainly worse than an above-ground pool.
Depends on your perspective, I guess.
You can text in the worst thing in the world.
Disease, famine. Maybe Larry Nickel could rank the worst things in
Yeah,
the
usually he
world.
ranks the best countries.
Disease,
I thought it was
famine.
based on GDP, but I'm starting to wonder.
Plague, would that be in there?
I guess, would that be under the disease umbrella?
It could be.
Yeah, plague, we go under disease.
314-399-9646. Starting to get a number of suggestions for Doug, the worst thing in the world in the air comfort service text inbox. You can also suggest those in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. John Scores is talking to Stag, Jake in St. Genevieve, the Bridgeton landfill fume huffer. And is New York NY? He goes by NY. And he wrote, is Brad a moron? LMFAO. That's NY. Do you think that's in New York?
Oh, I would imagine it is.
John Cusick's Talking to John score. So you can go in there and you can talk it over with him. It's youtube.com/TMASTL. Or you can just email in to us for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. That's coming up on the Stiefel Dossier at 10:45. Design Air is online at DesignAirService.com. Longest running sponsor on TMA. Martin's a client. Doug's a client. I'm a client. And Doug, finally, I say this, it looks like you got a forecast coming up where it's just sunny and warm. Finally.
Well, that'd be nice.
The Memorial Day weekend weather. You know, it wasn't as rainy as it was supposed to be, but at the same time, it wasn't as warm as you would expect for Memorial Day weekend. How did that affect things at the lake, Jackson?
Negatively.
Did it really?
Well, I think the thing about lake goers is they're resilient, you know. A little mist isn't going to stop the rage.
Mist. Is it hard to plant your trailer when the ground's muddy?
Not if you have a little thing called want to. Okay. And then, of course, you know, rain is going to stop your cigarette boat from flying, baby. So, no, I think everything, despite the weather, it was all systems go in Lake Osage or Osage Beach this weekend.
Lake Osage, Osage Beach.
Okay. Yeah, Circus of Love, Love Circus.
Just think about that. Design Air, Heating and Cooling, online at DesignAirService.com. That's the great Seth Goldcamp. Any HVAC issues you may have. Mr. Licks has responded to the worst and was wacko. I was not face painting. I was explaining compound interest to your wife's new boyfriend. That's from Mr. Licks. So it's unfortunate.
The new boyfriend, too. It's not her only boyfriend, but like there's been others. Ouch.
Let's see. Here are the worst things, Doug. They have been sent in, and there is a long list. It starts with taxes. That's from the 636. Paying for the zoo is the worst thing. Float trips are pretty bad. That's from Rusty Pecker. These AI songs and return music themes are the worst thing.
I haven't played one of those in a while.
Haphazard toasted ravioli breading.
Couldn't agree more.
The worst thing.
Breading?
Blue balls, that's from Man Love. Signing Brett Cecil was the worst thing
that ever happened.
The Chicago Blackhawks, the worst thing. The U.S. government, the worst thing. That is from the 618. Sharon and Clayton with a wide variety of choices. Terrorism, human trafficking, kidnapping. Those are definitely on the list for the worst things.
I agree with that.
And they started with an above-ground pool.
Which is not the worst thing in the world.
Not.
Worst things in the world, mosquitoes, Pestis's calls, and Jackson's 7-iron. That's from 636.
What's worse, Jackson's 7-iron or a Pestis call?
Take your calls. I guess we can send that out on the Twitter tweets. Outside the 270 loop is the worst thing in the world. Fish nibblers from White Castle, worst thing in the world. Destin, worst thing in the world. That's
the SEC's hanging out down there. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's where they're doing their meetings, Martin.
The football meetings, the coaches, the ADs, they're all gathering. They're usually in Scottsdale or somewhere, I don't know, a little fancier. Love Destin. But they're having their meet. I was surprised by that.
Sharon and Clayton's the worst thing in the world. That's from Rusty Pecker. And Sharon's pool boy, Ledoux pool boy, actually has echoed that as well. All right, you can get involved on the program. So many ways to do so. Texting in 314-399-9646. You got the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat, youtube.com/TMASTL. 200 people in there talking it over this morning and watching the show. And they're dazzled by Chairman Kurt's appearance and my appearance, Doug. And then you and Jackson are wearing matching hoodies. Martin, are you wearing it too?
I am.
He
not
looks like
today.
it, but I think Mike was.
It's more my cat burglar outfit. No TMA logo today.
Chairman Kurt and I have some sound story responsibilities following today's presentation. That's why we are dialed up a little. A lot of people think we are defendants, Doug, for some kind of assault, I assume, because we're kind of local toughs.
And by dressing up, you're trying to look like you would never have punched that lady?
That's exactly right. Okay. We were not scrapping. Email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. This is TMA. It's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, summer is our season, and we're kicking it off with a free 12-ounce Sunrise Sunset Smoothie for National Flip Flop Day. Grab your flip-flops and head to your local cafe on May 28th from 2 to 7 p.m. Terms and conditions apply.
Website's called autoloanpro.com, the place to go when you're looking for a new vehicle. No matter what your circumstances, no matter what's happened in the past, they're going to help get you into a new car with little or no money down, working hard to get you the best rate possible, regardless of your situation. Auto Loan Pro works with over 50 different lenders. Financing a car, only one thing to know, and that is to choose the Auto Loan Pro. That website, autoloanpro.com, also features the free playbook. So if you want to understand the credit industry, how it works, what car you can afford this time, maybe next time, go to the website, get that free playbook, save it for future use. Anyone can sell you a car. It takes a pro to do it right. It's a large purchase. You want to make sure you're working with the right folks. They'll help you no matter the situation. Autoloanpro.com. Find your next vehicle and also understand the credit industry, all at one website. Auto Loan Pro. Auto Loan Pro is part of the Lita family.
McDonald's new under $3 McValue menu was made to save. McD's got you at participating McDonald's for a limited time.
Circus Sports Illinois. Sports betting at your fingertips, the way it should be.
This is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update. That's driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Despite a nice series sweep against the Diamondbacks over the weekend, the Cardinals fall to the Orioles yesterday, but they're back in action today, taking on the O's. That's going to be a 5:35 first pitch with Andre Palante toeing the slab for the Redbirds. That was our Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
We're back to TMA, presented by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
Jackson's music selection has been called the worst thing in the world by Eric in the Central West End.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. You can get over it pretty quickly, though.
I enjoy a
once the
good
show ends.
theme from Jackson.
I got a good theme. There's some good birthdays today. Some real good birthdays today.
Billy D. Williams.
I wish. He might be. I'm on music, so I could look it up.
Any initials that would help us?
This person has numbers in their name.
Numbers. Tupac. No.
Not a bad guess.
Yeah, that was nice.
Numbers.
I think Pac's ever been played on 101 ESPN?
He said this person has numbers in their name. Oh.
You want to take a guess on Billy D. Williams' age?
74.
I was going to go
Older than you
84. That's right. Maybe 85.
Billy D. Williams is 88.
Really?
Martin Ships.
Holy
It's Price is
smokes.
Right thing.
We missed his birthday.
Schlitz Malt Liquor did the Bull commercials.
Yeah. 88. Boy, I would never thought that. You said names with a number in it.
U2 is a band.
Yeah.
Not a bad guess either, though.
4 Chains.
4 Chains?
I don't know. Is there a band?
It's the brother of 2 Chains.
2 Chains.
Sunny Six Killer?
Sunny Six Killer.
Eve 6.
Football player.
Eve 6?
Isn't that a band? Probably playing on the point.
Eve 6?
Yeah, did I make that up?
2 Chains.
Another good guess.
Somebody just put that on the text line. I would not have thought of that myself.
I went over with 4 Chains.
Alan Dadeville says the worst thing in the world is waiting to get picked up at Hooterville Regional after 3 connections and having the lady in a 48 by 26 band and arms the size of McGuire's in 98 screaming at you to move it. That's from Alan Dadeville.
Yeah.
I think Alan Dadeville might be onto it.
That's really fun. My girlfriend asked me to retell her the story of Doug after our trip to Jupiter getting yelled at 1:30 in the morning in the rain.
I really got
It was packed. There was a long line.
I was the only one there.
There was not one, but 2 people in a neon jacket screaming at Doug from both angles. Doug on the phone, 8 bags next to him. Oh, I felt so bad, and I was not helping in the slightest.
Martin, it's something, and for whatever reason, it's a hypersensitivity that one of the things that I haven't followed in this program's 2-decade existence. The Wilson Contreras contract, I don't understand that one. 15 years ago, it was Sam Bradford. But when Doug talks about the security at Lambert screaming at you when you're waiting to get picked up, there are some people say, I've never had that happen to me, as if Doug is just making up the story.
Oh, yeah.
And we've all been lucky enough to travel around the country following the local teams. It is something that stands out in the St. Louis airport, which isn't necessarily as busy as the other markets when you get picked up. Whereas many airports actually have space for that in St. Louis. You have maybe room for 5 cars, but a lady just belligerently screaming at you about moving.
Yeah, and with the bag, you have to ask nicely for them to turn on the baggage claim carousel. If you have golf clubs, you have to find the right person to find you where your clubs are from the baggage claim. It's crazy.
The night we returned, remember the guy was polishing the floors and he was screaming,
barking at all the passengers.
It was 1 in the morning. Everybody's flight had been delayed. We're in from Chicago. We're from Florida.
Snowing all day.
And we land at 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, and the guy's waxing the floors, and he had cones out, and he's screaming at people to pay attention to the cones.
That was your welcome to St. Louis moment.
Jackson, 9 Inch Nails?
That's a great guess, but that's not the answer. It's not Trent Reznor or Atticus Ross's birthday?
Andre 3000.
Maybe.
How about 50 Cent?
We just got it.
Oh, he
saw the read right. I mean, the man gave off a
Not
tell.
much of a poker player.
Yeah. I mean, his...
Well, I should say, when you look up geez, I don't know, that might have been right.
This is why I don't get told about surprise guests anymore, because
that is true.
I'm a canary.
Martin has taken Jackson out of the surprise guest loop.
I think you will be surprised at his age today.
Andre 3000. I'm going to go 50.
I'll go 51.
Yeah!
52.
Today is the legendary Andre 3000's 50th birthday.
Having a monster segment. I had more people talking about that John Hamm interview, surprise guest. That was Martin dunking on the audience, at least a portion of the audience, on Friday. And I don't know how many people. Did you start watching Your Friends and Neighbors, Martin?
I have not started that yet.
Oh, but you and Kim are going to enjoy the hell. One episode left, as you heard John say on Friday. Penultimate episode this past Friday.
I like the word.
You didn't scold him, though. I noticed you were intimidated by Big Hollywood, and you didn't say a word.
Polite. I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to be like someone at Lambert yelling at a passenger who just arrived.
John, what's the best part of your celebrity? Not having to land at Lambert.
He's more of a spirit guy.
Yes.
Text in 314-399-9646. Air Comfort Service. Text inbox. You got the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbohydrates. Let me tell you something. It is going to, after it was a little chilly yesterday morning, and only have a high of 70 today. But, Doug, it is going to be warming up later in the week, and we will be enjoying some Michelob Ultras at the Dotem. Michelob Ultra, presenting sponsor of the Dotem Thursday and Friday. 2.6 grams of carbohydrates, 95 calories. Sponsor of the YouTube chat. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. That's Michelob Ultra, sponsor of the Dotem and the YouTube chat here on TMA. With the Cardinals losing yesterday, Eric Fetty has had a couple starts in a row that have not been particularly desirable. Oli Marmol talking about the festivities yesterday in Baltimore as the Cardinal winning streak was snapped by the surprisingly last place Orioles.
Beginning of that game with the ground ball, obviously you want that play made, but it happens. And we've been playing clean baseball 3-day games in a row, and sometimes you just chalk it up and keep moving along. But it was more, I mean, we couldn't do a whole lot against Morton. We need to take care of the starter today, and we weren't able to, so it more comes down to that, in my opinion. He spins it well. We know what he does. He's been around for a long time, and he actually pitched a good game. Did a nice job against us, located it well, landed it early, expanded late, and kept us off balance. But, yeah, for me, the game is more in taking care of the starter. You look at where their pen was today, and it's pretty beat up, so you need to take care of the starter and get into that pen as early as possible in order to set yourself up for the series. We weren't able to do that, and they unloaded some good arms there at the end against us and closed it out.
Base hit.
That was a little knock. Good piece of hitting.
Right. Hit that right on the screws. Which is another odd thing to say. There's no screws in a baseball bat or a ball. So why would you hit it on the screws?
Hold on.
Okay, I'll just wonder that by myself.
Yeah, that was more rhetorical.
Hitting on the screws, hitting the ball very hard. It comes from golf, where a wooden face was reinforced with screws. And a good shot was hitting on the screws.
All right.
How about the closer coming in to Farmer in the Dell as an homage to The Wire, which was a Baltimore-based show? That's a lot of
He comes out to down in the hole.
Farmer in the Dell.
Oh.
How great is that? Take a listen. Doug, listen.
Omar coming.
So Omar.
Yeah.
How great is that? Doug, did you watch The Wire?
No, I didn't.
Well, the great Omar.
In the alleyway.
Michael K. Williams.
In the alleyway. Oh, Martin, if you heard that, you knew trouble was coming.
He was coming, and he would whistle Farmer in the Dell.
That is the best entrance for a closer in Major League Baseball. And Doug, watch this. Full stop.
Oh, gosh, mic drop.
No, I just tweeted it out.
Okay.
Okay, I thought what you were saying was coming the theme song down the hole, but no, that's way better.
That's pretty cool.
You like the Farmer in the Dell play?
Oh yeah, I mean it was so cool whenever he would do that in The Wire, like an empty alleyway, empty street.
He was about to kill somebody.
You just hear the whistle. Well, you just know he's coming.
He was a bad dude.
Why
Doug.
is he coming?
Steals from the rich, gives to the poor.
Robin Hood?
Settle a score.
Baltimore's Robin Hood.
Okay.
It'd be great if the Jumbotron at Camden would also show a little visual of Omar walking, maybe carrying a bat.
Often with a 12 gauge. I don't know how well that would play.
Yeah, that's true. Trigger. Literally.
I binged Your Friends and Neighbors this weekend. Great show. Thanks for the recommendation, Tim. That's from the 618.
Nice going, Tim.
Yep, I did it again. Martin, you and Kim, you're going to be locked in. You're going to be going, I guess we got to watch another one. And all of a sudden it's midnight and you're like, I got to get up and I got to entertain the millions and millions listening to this program. Let's watch another show. That's what's going to happen. I'm just telling you what's going to happen. I'm just telling you.
It's usually me saying, I need to go back and rewatch the fourth quarter of that Thunder T-Wolves game from Friday.
Yep.
And then Kim will say, doesn't Jackson do that for you guys?
It's true. I do the work for you.
Hoop Rock, that's your department.
Yep.
Martin Kwame Voyoukas, the fourth, one of your nemeses and one of your critics on the surprise guests, says, I can't wait for Martin to follow up the John Hamm interview with Sean Dunston.
Sean Dunston?
Oh, that'd
he
be
had a
great.
good arm. Holy smokes, could he throw?
He did have a gun. He's the Mason Wynn of the 1980s and 90s.
Where the skipper stuck him out in left field.
He did.
Thought he was a shortstop. Yeah, the next one's going to be a little tricky.
Ooh. It's kind of. Do you want to get initials or anything?
Why is that?
Well, it's following John Hamm.
Oh.
It's a little tricky.
Okay.
I think we'll do something cheeky instead because you just can't quite. Although, in honor of Kilcoyne, Voyoukas,
the fourth.
Boy, it'd be nice to get him on.
I'm going to try and get Kilcoyne Mitchell or Ian Voyoukas, maybe a Jordair Jet.
Oh. But Troy Robertson, he's a listener.
I'm trying to keep it in that same era. I love Troy Robertson. Jim Cruz would be fun.
Yeah, the reluctant coach.
Yes, always reminding us.
Fly first class, Jackson, and all your bags and clubs come up first. It helps if you tip Links $3 to, quote, take care of your bags. Plowboy, there is still time. Virgin, how was your gal's B-Day dinner at Fuddruckers? That's from the Warson Woods Wacko. I thought you went to Antonino. You went to
Is that all in
Fuddruckers?
one text?
It was.
Stream of consciousness. No, Antonino's delicious. No haphazard breading. And I don't know. I'm trying to think. I've flown Southwest most of my life, and there's no first class on Southwest.
No.
And even American Airlines, it's like there's like the business class, I guess, with a little bit bigger seats. I don't know if I've ever really had an option of flying first class.
Because you're flying private?
Yeah, when you fly private, it's always first class. It's like fractional.
Are there any more Fuddruckers left in St. Louis?
There was that one
at Sunset Hills, kind of by Helen
closed.
Fitzgerald.
That's closed. It's now a Rally's.
Yeah. Rally House or like Checkers?
Rally House.
Okay, got it.
Rally House.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a great jingle, isn't it?
I don't know if I've ever been
It's
to
in your head.
Fuddruckers.
The only Missouri Fuddruckers is in Branson.
Is that right?
It's a damn
Wow.
shame.
Fun facts, no one tell. I'm so happy that John Hamm now knows how my wife berates me in the bedroom. That's from caller Buzz, who I believe was the text I read to John Hamm in which he said that his wife cucks him to John Hamm, and John Hamm was responsive.
He was fine with it.
He did text. He did say after the interview, anytime. So then I thought, Monday at 7:05?
Yeah, but we were off.
Tuesday at 8:20? Anytime.
Tim, good morning, Tim. That's from I Don't Know the Years, Tim, in the YouTube chat. Why is KG dressed as a waiter? That's from the Hunchback of Vaughn Castle. Doug, they're watching on the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. To restate it, I'm dressed like a fancy lad today, and same with Chairman Kurt, because we have a sound story. We have sound story responsibilities following today's radio presentation here. YouTube.com/TMASTL. That is where you can watch the program. You are also welcome to text in at 314-399-9646. The text inbox brought to you by Air Comfort Service. And of course, Doug, you are a big fan of STLTaxLawyer.com because that's where Mark Milton resides.
Well, you'd be a big fan too if you ever had tax problems, didn't know where to go, and called Mark Milton, because he would take care of you. If you are sideways with the IRS in any way, maybe unfiled tax returns or tax liens, bank levies, wage garnishments keeping you up at night, or even worse, you're facing IRS criminal investigation, you should contact STL Tax Lawyer Mark Milton at STLTaxLawyer.com, and he will take on the godforsaken tax man for you. Mark Milton and STLTaxLawyer.com provide a local and holistic approach to tax resolution. He started his legal career with the Department of Justice Tax Division in Washington, D.C., where he represented the IRS in tax cases throughout the country and received the DOJ's Outstanding Trial Attorney Award. This guy is one of the best in the country at what he does, and now he's right here in St. Louis to help you out. He helps individuals and small businesses solve their tax problems. So if you have any kind of IRS issues at all, contact Mark Milton at STLTaxLawyer.com today. You'll be saying, nope, I'm not guilty. I'm with Milty. Remember, the choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
John Hamm forgot about you the minute he hung up the phone. Buzz, get over yourself. That's from Big Tough.
Oh, brother.
Doug is wrong. The Rally House is next door. The Fuddruckers is going to be a Shake Shack. Get your ass straight.
Oh, there's a Shake Shack.
18th. That's from Major Stronzo.
They're both right there in that corner where Fuddruckers were. Shake Shack and Rally House. They're both right there.
The Warson Woods Wacko is one of those Hoosiers you see fighting in the airport while they wait to board Spirit Airlines. That's from the 636. There are fights in the Spirit Airlines?
Fights
Lines?
everywhere else. Fights at Tower Grove Park yesterday. Tried to have a Memorial Day.
What happened
party.
at Tower Grove Park?
Multiple fights. They had to break it up and send everybody home.
Really?
Clear the park. Yeah.
Like for a Memorial Day celebration? There was fights at the Memorial Day?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Well, no, I wouldn't suspect you would understand. I don't understand it either, and yet there it was.
So they were fighting there and in the Spirit Airlines?
I don't know if they were fighting about anything related to Memorial Day, but there was enough people there fighting that the police had to come and clear the park and send everybody home.
You think they were debating the merits of war? And like historical battles were referenced?
Doubtful?
No? Okay.
Oh, that's why we can't have nice things.
We were driving back from Southern Illinois, and my wife got an alert. Like, there's the next door, and then there's like ring alerts. It's all these neighborhoods that will chime in on things. It said something about a shooting at Essex and Geyer, and I said, that's right where that convenience store is, right by Kirkwood High School.
Yeah.
And then later somebody said, okay, it wasn't actually a shooting. I thought, well, it's good to just put it out there. So now Bad Reporting, which was a segment, I believe.
A segment, yeah.
The Morning Grind had a segment called Bad Reporting.
Forgot about Bad Reporting.
Then later, whoever, like a citizen, just posted that. They saw actually there were no shots, and I take it back. And somebody.
So what was going on?
I guess somebody was tased. So there was some incident.
Jackson's on it. I see he's going to get the drop right now, Martin.
But the initial report that there was a shooting, I said, "Oh my God!" in Kirkwood, and then they said, "No, it was actually just an incident where somebody was tased." But the initial report was a little jarring, a little alarming.
Come on, babe. Put the bag down.
You think Larry got tased in Kirkwood?
Oh, it hurt. Oh, he was really suffering
right there. I think he knew it was coming, but then when he actually felt it, wow, that was an involuntary reaction.
Dropped him.
I saw Sharon with her pool boy at the West County Mall doing a dual glamour shots photo shoot while wearing her bedazzled stonewashed jean jacket. It was hot. That's from Taint Slap. So these are sightings. Let's go burgering. We're going around town.
Sounds like that's what we're doing. Boy, it's going to really be something once we get Real Housewives of TMA up and running.
I'm telling you, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening. And we went 4. Are they all going to be from like Clayton and Ladue, or do we? I think you bring in Scott's wrinkled ballsack's wife from the Illinois Peninsula.
Sure,
I think that's a good play. Sharon and Clayton is obviously the alpha.
Mm-hmm.
The self-made stay-at-home Ladue mom has to be live.
I would think so.
And then I think we need somebody from down I-55 way, maybe.
You had to shake it up a little bit.
Imperial.
Be inclusive.
Yeah, a Jeff Gogal would really set this thing off.
Yeah. Toothless?
Doesn't have to be.
Okay.
It could be.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yes, we're the Real Housewives of TMA.
Hey, 636, I have vanquished Lix's balance sheet. You want some too? 636 area code equals shaking in your boots about the work requirement for Medicaid and SNAP benefits and the new tax bill. That's Northwoods Wacko. Doug, this is starting to... I don't know. Okay. It's the Dave Ramsey show now, and I don't follow it. I'm a meat and potatoes guy.
That's right.
Hey, let's have
simple.
Tim over for some meat and some potatoes. That's all I know.
Just a slab of Spam.
That's all I need. Hey, Morrison Woods, Wacko, paying for a seat assignment on Frontier Airlines is not really first class. That's from the 636. And finally, I got a next-door crime alert yesterday that some boomer from Morrison Woods was in my neighborhood pestering everyone about a power washing service he could do. Cops booted him back to Manchester. That's from Mr. Licks. And this is just now, it's becoming an unfortunate thing in the audience where everybody's at each... You know, you come off a 3-day weekend, might be a little hungover, maybe your sleep's out of kilter a bit, and you're taking it out on other listeners on this program. And we just can't have it.
No.
We'll keep reading it, of course, but we just can't have it. 314-399-9646. That's where you can express your frustration. Brad Thompson's going to be joining us on the program coming up here on the Stiefel Dossier. It's TMA, presented to you by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
Bank of America is the nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in St. Louis. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Spring into a new home with amazing savings at TR Hughes. I'm Jason Hughes with TR Hughes Homes, and we currently offer half off up to $40,000 in options and up to $5,000 in closing costs on brand new to-be-built homes at select TR Hughes communities. Visit trhughes.com.
Doug, this is Andre 3000, who Jackson says surprisingly is celebrating his 50th birthday today.
That is surprising, because I've never heard the guy's name before.
What?
Now to hear that he's 50.
Boy, if you had to narrow it down to your Mount Rushmore of Outkast songs, where would you go? It is not going to be easy.
I guess this one. This one probably all 4 spots.
Let me guess, Martin will go, hey, loser.
You're doing preemptive text now.
I kind of like that, hey, loser.
2003. I heard that for the first time driving down to Missouri's upset win over Nebraska, and that was Victor Cisse. Am I correct, Victor Cisse?
I don't know. I just don't.
Is that a Thursday night?
Saturday night, no.
I don't know what night it was either.
Rough. I mean, I think Players Ball has to be on there. I think Rosa Parks has to be on there. Aquemini, and I think the George Washington is Bombs Over Baghdad, and that is the official Mount Rushmore of Outkast songs as endorsed by Timothy Michael McKernan, St. Gabriel's class of 1990. St. Gabriel's class of 1990.
All right. Okay. All right, okay.
You're okay with that?
I guess.
Gonna rubber stamp it?
Yeah.
Why is KG dressed like Elvis Costello? That's from the Elvis Costello.
I don't mind that.
Elvis Costello. Doug, you remember him?
Sure.
Got a Mount Rush.
I don't have a Mount Rushmore for him either.
Accidents will happen. Every day I write the book.
Nice.
Big fan of that.
What about Veronica? A tribute to his ailing grandmother with Alzheimer's. Am I correct on that? 1988?
Don't know the years.
What about Miss Jackson? That's from the 314.
You didn't include something that I like in your list.
No, you changed your voice there, I noticed. What was that?
You can just imagine that's how they're talking when they're writing.
It's like the thing. It's like,
I have a different list.
Yeah, what's your favorite food? You say, like, oh, I like chicken wings. You're like, what about grilled cheese? It's like, well, make your own damn list then. How about that?
This guy's a Banny Rooster.
I just hate that so much when someone doesn't include something when their favorite list. Lame.
Because it's your list.
Right.
I don't like when people say, in my opinion. Well, who else's would it be?
Doug, we got a little column here that might get people a buzzing.
What's that?
Maybe it'll put the Cardinals to the test. The New York Yankees are ready to finally say we need to get a third baseman. The Yankees have had an issue at third base with injury and production. And Bob Nightingale, friend of the program, says the Yankees are looking to trade for a right-handed batter and somebody who can start at third base. Is there anybody?
Can't think of a soul. The Yankees are also 6 games up in their division and look like the dominant team by a large margin in the American League East. I'm not sure they're going to give you much for Arenado at this point.
The Yankees were linked to Arenado over the offseason, making him the first name to think of on a potential list. So I wonder what the reaction would be in St. Louis with the fans and in the clubhouse with the team if they were to trade him. And, of course, keep in mind, they can't just trade him. He has to be on board with it. Mm-hmm. Would he want to be traded at this point?
That would be a fascinating turn if he says now, I'm good. Yeah. Don't want to go to the Yankees. Mm-hmm. And I think he's further endeared himself to the fans. He's not lighting it up at the plate, but he's had some notable plays, diving into the stands. He seems to be enjoying being on this team, which is as much of a strange twist as anything since November, December. Would he say yes?
Yeah, what do you think on that?
I still think yes for the Yankees. Okay. Because if the ultimate goal is to win a World Series, and he's been on the record as saying that at his age, at this point in his career, and if you were him, wouldn't you go to New York just to roll the dice if you want to win a World Series? But that'd be tough because if you like this squad, these younger players, you're having fun, got to pack up and move. I think he'd say yes. But, boy, I don't think that would go over well in the room.
Oh, gosh, no. It's a team that actually thinks that they got a shot, and maybe they do. 2 full months into the season, they look like they could contend in the Central Division. And to yank one of your top players out in the middle of all that, it'd be a crushing blow for the
And the fact that and Gorman's not playing well at all, you can't really justify it. You can't say, well, it's time for Gorman to fly. Got his eye back.
So there is, new information now that the Cardinal organization did not have when they had that press conference in October and when they thought they had the deal with the Houston Astros. One of the pieces of information is the team to date is certainly playing better than I would imagine, if they were being honest, they were anticipating. There's that. I think they may weigh this piece of information more than where they sit in the standings with their 30-24 record. And that is Nolan Gorman just doesn't look like he's got it. At least with Walker, there have been some flashes and a real commitment. Oli Marmol said this following the game when he had another big game-winning hit. And then you see the arm. The key with him is patience. I don't know if they feel the same way at this point about Nolan Gorman. And so when you factor that in, perhaps the organization itself would not be as apt to trade Arenado as it once was 7 months ago. I don't know. I don't know.
If you felt like it was worth it or the Yankee offer was an offer you couldn't turn down, I think that you'd have to bring up Sajaci and put him into the mix. And all of a sudden, Donovan and Sajaci are your second, third base options. Right. And Gorman is back to being on the bench. No, I think for sure that in the offseason, you could kind of tell everybody, hey, we've got to find out what we have in Gorman. And now at this point, I mentioned those numbers, April, May, he's not hitting, hasn't had a home run since March. That changes that whole scenario. But if you did feel you had to do it and it would not be popular, and again, this also is that Mozeliak's final season versus Heimblum's looking to the future, that whole debate.
Yeah.
I think if you're Mozeliak, hey, we're still in it. I'm not motivated to trade him.
Who's the Yankee catcher? Arenado, for whoever that is, straight up. That's MD 2020. Jackson, you're of the opinion that the team needs 6 catchers?
At least.
Flood them.
All they do is rake.
As odd as it may sound,
Austin Wells,
you might get almost as much for Gorman as you would for Arenado in a trade, because Gorman didn't make the money. He's much younger, and last year he hit 19 homers. The year before that, 27 home runs. He's only 25. Could be some team out there that says we can get him turned around and have a guy who's going to come in and hit 25, 30 home runs a year.
The Nightingale report says they want a right-handed hitter who plays third base. perhaps the laissez-faire approach of the Yankees and the we'll give them time approach of the fan base would be a good approach for Nolan Gorman to experience in the Bronx.
Well, I don't think there'd be much. Would there be much of an offer for Arenado even? And it depends how desperate the Yankees are. It sounds crazy to say, but we sort of found that out this offseason that the market really wasn't there. It's a move that because again, in order for it to happen, Arenado has to say, yes, I'm on board. And then what the ramifications would be in the clubhouse and with the fan base. But keep in mind, if he goes, I know plenty of people would be mad at the Cardinals, but that means he had to okay it. That's an important part of the equation. That was the issue with why he's not playing for the Astros right now.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would blame him for wanting to go. It's the club for doing it, for ripping apart a team that looks like they might be a contender.
It would be strictly for financial reasons, because at this point, the way Gorman's not hitting, you're better off with Arenado. If you're going to try and be a playoff team, you're better off with him here. And I can't imagine the return would be great based on his age, his contract. So if you did do it, it would simply be a financial move, which would further piss off the fans who have slowly re-engaged with the team. And I think that is a factor.
I wouldn't think the Yankees are in any hurry to do this. Like I said, they're comfortably in front in their division right now. I wouldn't think they'd make a move to take on a big chunk of salary if it looks like they can get it done, at least not at this point in the season. Right. Maybe if you get right around the trade deadline and it looks like that things are tightening up or you think you really do need one more right-handed bat to win the whole thing, maybe then. But I wouldn't think now would make a whole lot of sense for it.
Nolan Gorman with the short porch and right.
Some hitting coach gets a hold of Nolan Gorman, he might hit you 30 home runs a year.
Nolan Gorman got his eye back.
He doesn't have it back right now.
Maybe they'll have Gorman bat right-handed. How much worse could it be? It's in the 6-way.
Not a lot worse. 178 points worse, I guess it could be.
Doug, would trading Arenado to the Yankees be considered a hockey trade? That's from Just Don't Press Push. You don't like when Andy Strickland says hockey trade.
I don't. I hate
Might
that.
be futures trade, right?
It would not be a hockey trade because it wouldn't be somebody from the current big league roster. I've always hated when he said it, but now I kind of get it.
Makes sense.
In other words, you're not trading for down the road. You want somebody who can have an immediate
Find
impact.
a different word other than hockey trade. Maybe a player trade.
What about a good golf shot?
I don't like that either. Nice golf shot. Well, what other kind of shot would it be?
Good piece of hitting.
Think about that.
I don't care for a good piece of hitting.
Martin, you do care for Seth Goldcamp and Design Air Heating and Cooling. That's what I know you care for.
You know what? There's only a few things you can count on. The text line being toxic. The Dotem being a raucous good time. And then there's Design Air. You can always count on them when you make the call or book that appointment online. You know you're getting the very best when it comes to working on your furnace, your air conditioning unit, year-round, all your HVAC needs, one spot. DesignAirService.com, a company that's been around for generations now. Seth Goldcamp is the fourth-generation family-owned business, heating, cooling, year-round, great design technician team, if that's a phrase. Yeah, they've got great technicians that come out and get you back up and running without trying to sell you something you don't need. That's just the added stress that often happens in the HVAC world. They don't do that. In fact, they make sure their technicians are not doing that. So for all your heating and cooling needs year-round, longest running sponsor on TMA. They should put that on the side of the vans. Why not?
Yeah, I think they should.
Gosh, I'm an idea guy. DesignAirService.com.
That's Design Air, heating and cooling sponsor of the email of the day. Here on TMA, coming up at 10:45, Brad Thompson at 9:30. Doug, I can't wait to get into this one with you.
What?
You know, Jason Stark on The Athletic had the all-quarter century team for Major League Baseball. Katie Wu in The Athletic just released the all-quarter century team for the St. Louis Cardinals. And I'm going to put you to the test to see how many of them you can name. That is next here on the Morning After. Presented to you by Brown & Crouppen, 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel.
The Stanley Cup playoffs are on ESPN tonight. Stars and Oilers. Pregame at 6:30. Puck drop at 7. Your home for the NHL. 101 ESPN.
Look at the forecast this weekend. It is going to be perfect in the St. Louis area. And you're going to want to spend some time outside if that's the case, and you want to do something special with your outdoor living area. I recommend Aesthetic Design and Build. That's aestheticdesignandbuild.com. I have met with Dan and his team at their Chesterfield Valley showroom for Aesthetic Design and Build. They walked me through all the different types of custom work they're capable of doing. They are so good at full-on custom deck customization. And in addition, they can come in, and you can come in and check out their showroom and let their expert team walk you through all the different outdoor solutions they offer, from pergolas and retractable screens all the way to their patented underdecking system. Their goal is to provide a custom solution that matches the look and the feel of your home. It's Aesthetic Design and Build, outdoor living spaces expertly designed, online at aestheticdesignandbuild.com.
You might have heard Doug Voss and Safe Money Radio. His shows have been on several radio stations for many years. Now he can be heard every Sunday from 10 to 11 a.m. on 101 ESPN. He is super excited to get to the ESPN audience as he is a huge St. Louis sports fan. Doug is an expert at minimizing the impact of market volatility on his clients.
Ah, Doug. People celebrating birthdays today.
That's right. Sean Kinney, drummer for Alice in Chains, turns 58 today.
Okay.
I went to Jerry Cantrell. I thought that's where you were going with this. But no, it's not his birthday. It's the drummer's birthday. You got to really be in the weeds to get this stuff here.
Oh, I guess.
This program. Jackson's a little flustered because of the hunchback of Vaughn Castle. Martin, what did he say?
He said Jackson's a hypocrite because you were saying let people like whatever they like, don't like whatever they like, and I'm searching for that text to him right now.
I'm sorry, I put you on the spot.
Jackson is a hypocrite. He bashes people's takes on movies all the time.
I don't think I do. I respect everyone's opinion.
Because you were saying people were chiming in on your favorite this or that. There's no right or wrong.
Right.
Stop scolding people.
Well, someone might say that movie sucks, and I'd be like, well, here's my perspective on it, but that's not me chastising your assessment of the film. At least I don't try to. If I do, I apologize.
Look at that. How about that? How can you not respect that, gentleman?
Very nice little apology.
Hell yes, Virgin. Alice in Chains Rooster. You have elevated yourself. That's from the Horse and Woods Wacko.
Okay, stop it.
Thank you. Yeah. It's, noticing birthday. That was part of the grunge movement, right?
Yeah.
Alice in Chains.
Yeah. My son's got into the guitar.
Right oh, is that right? Really?
And he's really good at it, and he loves Alice in Chains.
Wow.
Soundgarden out of nowhere, because I'm not walking around the house blasting Alice in Chains. He's just discovered it's kind of a guitar-heavy era there, grunge.
Absolutely.
And I said, oh, who's the lead singer in Alice in Chains? He said, oh, well, he's dead. Oh, what about Soundgarden? He goes, yeah, he's dead. Like, it's sad how many of the Nirvana, we know the story, but he loves Alice in Chains.
Pearl Jam's still going.
Pearl Jam? He would love to go see him. He's Googling.
You ought to take it. That'd be pretty good.
I think that he said, oh, yeah, I think they're playing in, like, Australia. He said,
you could take him there.
It's going to be.
It's close.
Hey, Tommy, Mattern, do you have any tickets? Where's the show?
Sydney.
Melbourne.
Doug, I deep teased this here in the Fisher Window and Door Store, 8 o'clock hour on the morning after, 101 ESPN and the TMASTL YouTube channel. Jason Stark, longtime MLB writer, longtime with ESPN, now with The Athletic, did his all-quarter century team in Major League Baseball.
Okay.
Katie Wu has just released the all-quarter century team for the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals.
Okay.
So, with that, it is time for one of the greatest guessing games of all time. Right up our alley, because our time, when everything starts on this program, is the year 2000, to try to bring in as many people. As we start going back to the 60s and 70s, you're only talking to the people who hate this show. You go 2000, you get the meat and potatoes of recent Cardinal history. So I ask you this question, and you can go with any direction you want to go with. Name the roster of the all-quarter century team.
The entire roster, just like the starters.
Let's see, the starters and the position players, 5 spots in the rotation.
Oh, gosh.
Closer, you got it. I think you can do it.
That's a lot. I think I could get the start, at least my opinion. This is just her opinion, right? I think the catcher's obviously Molina. You got Pujols at first. I'm struggling with second and short. Rollins the third baseman.
That's correct.
Holiday in left.
That's correct.
Edmonds in center.
Yes.
Beltran in right.
No, I'm sorry.
What do you mean, no?
Wait, wasn't here very long.
That's I mean, that's not there.
No,
that's what I meant.
Well, this is opinion. Who is better than Beltran in right field?
Well, staying power probably is. We're looking for somebody who's here a little longer.
I had Matt Carpenter at second.
Yes.
Yes.
Renteria at short.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're just a right fielder away from getting home
I got
with
the
the
right
starting
fielder.
lineup.
I got him. Beltran was the best player they had for about 3 years.
I'm sorry.
Wonder if.
I don't know the answer, but I don't think it's Beltran.
That's correct.
Well, it should have been Beltran. I don't know the answer either.
Would you like to fire another puck on net? The only way to score is to put a puck on the net. Wayne Gretzky, Michael Scott.
A lot of outfielders that were impactful briefly. Larry Walker brief. Reggie Sanders brief.
Is this player's number higher than 25?
I'm not taking questions.
For heaven's sakes.
Would that
Sanders
help?
was a left
Larry
fielder.
Walker, dummy!
Well, he was here less time than Beltran,
And
wasn't
it's
he?
not Larry Walker.
No, it wouldn't be. We're forgetting somebody.
Yeah.
I think I know it, but I want those to guess it. I'm going to guess. No, I'm not going to guess. I'm going to let Doug go.
I don't really have anybody in mind right at the moment.
Tim, we have a guessing game where the producer is refusing to guess.
Doug, that's
give us
the guessing.
A hint. If not initials, at least a hint.
Famous postseason hit.
Oh, okay.
Is it Berkman?
No, I'm sorry.
Well, Freese never played right field. Famous postseason hit. There's a base hit. Now, who was it?
Mr. Lick says Ryan Ludwig. He is not correct. A lot of Ryan Ludwig guesses.
That was my guess.
That was your guess?
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Hazelbaker, just say it.
No.
Tim, are we going to be kicking ourselves, do you think?
Probably.
I would think so.
Okay, why am I just drawing a blank on somebody? Because I was just sure.
Carlos Beltran's typing over there.
Carlos Beltran was the best guy they had. He was here how many years? He was here I guess just 2 years.
Doug got catcher, Yadier Molina. He got first base, Albert Pujols. He got second base, Matt Carpenter. That one I didn't think you were going to get.
I wasn't sure where you'd put Carpenter.
Yeah. Edgar Renteria at short, Roland at third, Holiday in left, friend of the show, Jim Edmonds in center, friend of the show. Martin, we interviewed this gentleman at spring training. The right fielder, Doug.
What year did you interview him at spring training?
Probably 2006.
Oh, wow, really?
Preston Wilson.
No, I think he was a mid-season acquisition after he was DFA'd.
He got sideways with Rennie Knott because Rennie said something.
Really?
Yeah, I saw it play out because Rennie said something about his defense, I guess, on Sunday night. He misplayed a ball or something. And I was standing there and Preston Wilson, hey, I didn't appreciate that last night.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, kind of hurt. Watching Sports Plus. What do you mean you're upset?
Juan Encarnacion?
No, I'm sorry.
No, it's not Stephen Piscotty.
I don't think Juan Encarnacion was ever on the show, for the record.
No.
So that was my tell.
Gosh, I almost need initials at this
They've
point.
had so many rotating outfielders.
How about
Martin just said it.
Rotating outfielders.
So many rotating.
So Taguchi?
No, stop.
No.
All right.
Wrong.
Wow.
Well, some people like some
He
things.
did have a huge postseason hit.
So Taguchi.
Wow, I've never seen you so upset.
Well, I guess
Skipper
I got to
loved
go
him.
back and look at his stats and see what he did here.
Here's what the article says. Taguchi came to St. Louis in 2002, his age 32 season, becoming the Cardinals' first Japanese-born signing. It wasn't until 2004 when he started making an impact, but his role in the Cardinals' 2006 World Series championship team turned him into a fan favorite. During the 2006 postseason, he hit a scorching 400, 438, 867 with 2 homers, tying his regular season total.
Okay.
Doug, 19 career homers.
I see that.
He probably trying to head that at the All-Star break once.
Yes. He played here 6 years. If it's all about how many years do you have to play here before you're eligible for the award?
I'm just reading it.
Okay.
That's surprising.
I would never have guessed that, I'll be honest.
No, I would have guessed. Plus, I thought he played left field most of the time.
Corner outfield.
Yeah.
The listeners are not happy with Taguchi's
No, I'm not either.
selection. All right, the rotation.
Certainly Wainwright and Carpenter.
They're in.
They've got to be in there. Matt Morris.
Yes, I didn't think he would get that one. Tip of the cap.
Did Woody Williams get in there?
That would be a nice play. Kind of a sneaker play. He did not get in.
He didn't get in there, did he? Oh, Waka had some good years.
Yes. One more to get.
How many more to get did you say?
One.
Okay. Michaelis?
No, I'm sorry.
No.
Is Soup here long enough?
That's a nice play, too.
Because I'm reading Taguchi has a little bit of postseason.
Yeah, if you want some
cred,
consistency
got him
with
in.
the pro postseason, he started 2 Game 7s to win a pennant.
Right.
But it's not Suppan.
Jeff Weaver.
Bo Weaves.
Marquis?
Okay. Jason Marquis, probably not.
Great
Although
ball striker,
decent. He was a decent player. Might need initials again.
LL. Ladies love Cool James.
Larry Looper? He was here?
Larry Loopers was here, Martin.
Laren LeGros? No, he played for the Tigers. LL. Luis.
He may have been on the
Lutana.
show recently. May have been on the show Thursday.
May have been critical of Jackson's 7-iron distance with Mr. Sider.
And
There's nothing worse than a comfortable media person.
Okay, Lance.
He would be a little
Lance
offended.
Lynn. Closer.
Isringhausen.
Yes. You did pretty well there.
Rosenthal could be in the mix for that, but Isringhausen is their all-time saves leader, right?
Hell, Waino could be in there closing out all the series in 06.
But he made it as a starter.
It's true.
I mean, the McHelsley can be in the conversation, too, but it's Isringhausen. Rosenthal, Helsley mentioned in the column as well. So just Taguchi's the only one that you got to...
Well,
I think that's the only real debatable one. Because if you look around, a good metric could be, are they red jacket, like Cardinal Hall of Fame worthy? Molina, Pujols, Renteria's going in this year, Roland, Holiday, Edmonds, Matt Carpenter's probably going to get a red jacket at some point. Carpenter, Waino, Morris, Lance Lynn, Walker, maybe not. But the Taguchi, it may have been, who else can we throw in there? Or maybe an editor said, we need something they're going to argue about. You need something to piss them off.
who can forget the 2006 World Series season Taguchi put together when he had 2 home runs and 31 RBIs and hit 266?
See, how about that?
You can't forget that.
Nice. Sounds like you're a little skeptical of number 99.
A little bit, yeah.
He was a delight. He really liked Ted Drews. That was his thing. I went and interviewed him in Clayton one time, and his wife, who spoke English,
was like a television
was a
reporter.
news anchor. Yeah, she was a news anchor back in Tokyo. She did a lot of the translating, but then I said, what does he like to do? And she goes, ask him about Ted Drews. And he just started shaking his head. Going, yeah, Ted Drews. Wasn't the greatest soundbite, but it was a good visual.
He was really small for a major league. About 5'10", 170. That's wow. Yeah,
5'10", 170. That's huge.
That's what he's got listed here.
Alan Craig's an interesting thought. A brief period, but he was really good. He was more of a left fielder. Although the skipper played him at second base on occasion, and they would hope the ball didn't get hit. Mm-hmm. That was sort of the game plan.
There was a couple years there where he was about as clutch an RBI guy as you could have.
Doug, is Carp over Eckstein that obvious? That's from Rusty Pecker.
Yes.
Well, Eckstein's a short.
Eckstein played short. He'd probably be number 2 behind Renteria, I guess.
And again, wasn't here very long.
Yeah, World Series MVP.
Yeah, can't deny that.
Yeah, that's what cost Khalil Green as well. It can't be so, Taguchi. That's like putting Orson Woods on the all-century St. Louis Municipalities team. From Mr. Licks.
We'll do that in the next segment.
Oh, that's not a bad one, yeah. The Mount Rushmore of St. Louis municipalities.
We sort of do that every day. Mm-hmm. A lot of zip code shaming.
Huntley, Clayton,
I think Chesterfield's got to get in just for its size.
Boy, where do you go for Huntley, Clayton, Ledoux? Where do you go for?
Oh, you're going the elitist Mount Rushmore.
I don't know what else there is.
Frontenac.
I guess you go Frontenac. There you go. That's
Huntley,
it.
The
Big Four.
The perimeter.
They call them the Big Four?
Country Life Acres, does that have a spot?
I thought that was a subdivision. Is that an actual municipality?
I don't know.
What about Nooning Tree?
Oh, very prestigious.
I noticed you guys didn't say Imperial.
Right.
No, left it out this
receiving
time.
votes.
Receiving votes. That's correct. This is what this show will do to you. I'm driving through Kirkwood, and there's a street called Thursby.
Thursby.
Thursby. Thursby. And I thought, that's probably how Jackson says Thursday.
That's how Tim would say it.
Yeah, Thursby.
Thursby. Hey, coming up on Thursby's show.
Let's see. I ran into Taguchi at the 2013 World Series. He was a reporter for Japanese TV. He was shocked I recognized him, and I had him sign my baseball. Awesome memory. That's from the 817.
That's really cool.
Okay. I wonder if he speaks English now.
I don't know.
You know how he learned a little English, Doug?
How?
Watching Finding Nemo and Monsters, Inc.
Oh, really?
I'm going to fold. Really? I don't think the chairman would make up something that random. I'm going to fold.
Just read that.
Pixar classics.
Huh. Well, I'm sure it's really hard to learn a language when the alphabet's not even the same.
That's the biggest
Talk
thing.
about starting all over.
Yeah.
What about Larry Walker for right field? What about Carpenter over Colton Wong? Offensively, I'd agree, but defensively, I'm not too sure. It's in the 636.
Defensively, no, but Carpenter's are going to be a red jacket guy.
Carpenter was the right answer for a second.
You're welcome to give your thoughts. 314-399-9646. Brad Thompson, who was left off the list, probably not happy, going to join us at 9:30. That's going to be awkward when he sees Katie. But we'll let them work that out.
Hash it out themselves.
Email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. The morning after at InsideSTL.com for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email. Today, the program's called TMA. It's on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel.
This is Jackson with a Sports Center update. That's brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Taking a look at the NBA playoffs from last evening. The Thunder defeat the Timberwolves 128-126. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander looking like a real MVP with 40 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. That was another Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Show your sincere. Look out now, these baby birds gonna fly.
Doug, there's an argument on social media over how to spell Youngry. How do you spell it?
Youngry. Let's see. Y-O-U-N-G-R-Y. Youngry?
Martin, how would you spell it?
I really hadn't put much thought to it.
Yeah, that's why I'm putting you to the test.
But I do kind of think it's hungry with a Y.
Okay, so you think Doug is wrong?
Yes.
Oh, Doug.
Sorry.
Gosh.
And now we go to our correspondent for the Youngs, the 27-year-old, who took on his lover to Antonino's and enjoyed the wonderful breading of the toasted ravioli and the play and Juliet?
Musical.
Yeah. You went and saw a musical.
Okay.
Musical.
That's nice.
This is Jackson Burkett with the spelling.
When we were spelling it right after the soundbite happened, I liked it then. But seeing Youngry spelled the way Vic Scott's been spelling it and the Cardinals media's been spelling it, I kind of prefer that.
Well, how is it?
Y-U-N-G-R-Y.
Like hungry, but with a Y.
Right.
No,
Instead of young.
Yeah, it looks cleaner, I'd say.
If you were not in an alliance with Martin, would you have said that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My opinions. The alliance doesn't make my opinions. I make my opinions.
What a moment.
Ben Hockman wrote about it and spelled it Y with hungry, Youngry. And somebody tweeted at Derek Gould and said, it's actually Y-O-U-N-G-R-Y hashtag TMA.
Oh, the TMA Twitter account.
They tagged the Twitter account for TMA.
Nice.
But I think Victor has decided.
It's YU.
And the cat, even during the game yesterday, was pimping the material, the merchandise. Said you can get it over at that Arch Apparel, Younger Gear.
Doug, Younger Gear.
It's taken off.
Chairman Steve is on the Callier and Thompson phone lines. Good morning, Chairman Steve.
Okay, stop yelling.
Martin didn't seem too excited that I was calling. But
No, I did. You actually rewind the tape, Jackson. I went, oh, okay.
It wasn't like that, but whatever. Youngry Arch Apparel is Y-U-N-G-R-Y. That's how they spell it on their shirts there. I sent a picture of it in. But, hey, Martin, can you hear me like I yell with my megaphone from my balcony? Can you hear it sometimes down there?
I can't say that I have, but I'll listen for it now.
When are you usually there? Like early or late or
Usually
both?
it's a great opportunity when you're in media, Tim, that you get to go to a lot of games, then you leave about an hour before they start. Typically there in that 3:30 to 5:30 window.
That's perfect because they're not jamming out the music there, and they can usually hear me. The players can hear me. So
What do you say to the players?
I just yell, "Hey, Miles, give me a wave," and Michaelis will. Like, some of them just ignore me. Like Sonny Gray, I was yelling his handicap down there, and he didn't respond at all.
What's his index?
3.7.
Oh, good point.
He's up a little bit in this offseason, which surprised me. But speaking of golf, I got canceled out last week and didn't get to go to Boone Valley because my neighbor took a bunch of shrooms the night before and, totally flaked on making a tee time. He texted me at 10:30 at night. He's like, I don't think we're playing tomorrow. I was like, thanks for letting me know 6 hours before the tee time or 8 hours before the tee time. But
who were you supposed to play with?
Well, at first it was the great one, then the Pujols.
You went from playing with 99 to playing with Albert Pujols?
Yeah, well, 99 was making the tee time for him. Because
is that what Wayne Gretzky does now? He books tea times for people like as a little third party?
It's like a broker.
Hey, Wayne, I got a group of 3. Can we get off at 8:47 tomorrow?
Well, I mean, he gets them on Old Warson and Boone Valley, and that's you know how these guys are. And it was a bunch of caddies from the Grove, so Wayne knows them all. So,
Tim, if you had a chance to play golf with Wayne Gretzky, would you go easy on the shrooms the night before?
Boy, I love my psychedelics, but I guess I'd want to lock in before playing with the great one.
A choice was made.
He's going to back off the shrooms now, actually. Those are like
There's a happy ending.
Okay.
The chocolate bar ones are not as rough on the, psychedelic side of it. Like I took one Sunday night, and it just gives you energy. It's like it's a real good boost.
Where would you even buy something like that?
California, Oregon. I mean,
so you have them shipped
Colorado.
in. You have psychedelic mushrooms shipped in.
Okay, gaslight girl boss. Keep.
Or if you want, you can call my plumber too. He's
the plumber.
You want to call his plumber?
Heaven's sakes. Are illegal, I assume? Illegal?
Illegal-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. Ish.
Would you wear a sock in it?
I actually asked Pujols the other night if he played with Gretzky because I thought one of our texters said they were going to play together, and he said he was supposed to, but it didn't happen.
Oh, because of this mushroom deal.
He literally said, we were going to play, it just didn't happen.
Next time you see him, ask him. He took $250 from my neighbor. But
who took the $250? Albert?
$50. Yeah.
I thought that was a Lance Lynn story that got rebuked.
And one of them, ask Pujols too. One of the guys in their groups got a hole-in-one at Belle Reve.
Oh, wow.
On last Wednesday, whatever it was. Because he had that, the Pujols Foundation thing.
Yep.
So,
he had his
nice.
event Thursday night. He was in town for the week. I actually said to him, I'm kind of surprised you want to manage. He goes, why is that surprising? And then I said, okay. I said, can I be surprised that you're in the media? I think Belle Reve has a strict no shrooms policy, by the way, the record.
What's that?
No shrooms at Belle Reve.
Belle Reve, by the way, has a strict no shrooms policy.
Yeah, I'm sure. But that's fine. You got to take your hat. He was pissed because you got to take your hat off outside, too. Like when you're sitting on the outside patio, you got to have your hat off, which some of these rules of these country clubs are a little, they're old school, Doug. They want your shirt tucked in and all that. Like they'll go around, and a lot of the older guys like, oh, you got to tuck that shirt in. It's happened. But whatever.
Man, you're going from Belle Reve to Boone Valley, playing with Gretzky, playing with Albert?
I didn't do any of that.
Oh, you're just aware of it.
I was aware of it. I didn't play in these groups. But the Grove's closed until October, so I'll probably go this winter and see them all down there. I don't necessarily play with any of them, but I like playing good courses. And, Riverside, you squeeze in a little Riverside in between. It's nice.
Belle Reve to Riverside to Boone Valley. That's standard.
Yeah.
You want to talk about golf?
Okay.
Oh, sure. I'd love talking about golf. But I'm playing in the tournament Friday.
Playing on Friday.
Oh, yeah, welcome.
Hipster's in my group. I told him not to wear jeans this time, so he won't. So.
Oh, Hipster Tower Grove South. Martin, he plays denim golf.
Good guy.
He is a great guy.
Yeah, he is. He's a nice guy. I haven't
sound
seen him
very
in a while.
comfortable.
He has kids now, so that kind of takes away.
At what point in life does this gentleman get too old to still be taking mind-altering mushrooms?
I don't know, Doug. I mean, I don't do it all the time, but some people microdose like daily.
Yeah,
like
those tech billionaires, they do stuff like that.
It's like an Adderall type buzz too. I think it really focuses you, but it's weird that I don't know. I don't hang around with a lot of younger people except my kids and stuff, but all those groups when they go out, I think Jackie Boy probably falls under this category. I mean, there's always Adderall flying around. Like when you go on your little guy trips or whatever your gay trips or whatever. Is there a bunch of Adderall flying around?
No.
Jackie?
You think we're all just sitting around locking in? No.
Well, I mean, when you guys go play golf and stuff, because you're hungover usually, and so a lot of people take them when they're playing golf. It seems like it to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
When I would play in the World Series of Poker, it was an Adderall festival.
Yeah, but now probably a lot of those guys take this. I can't pronounce it. I think Chairman Kurt knows how to pronounce it. It's the mushroom candy bar.
Psilocybin.
Yeah, that one.
Psilocybin. Thank you, Chairman.
Psilocybin. I always mess it up.
You need that just before you go and play golf?
It actually works out well, Doug. Gives you a bunch of energy.
Okay.
I think that's
then
what's
a lot
going
of
on.
time-
Scheffler's and Rory just have been.
I doubt it. seriously doubt it.
Steve, couple of options for you, Steve. Steve, some options from the text line. Is it your choice, really? Buzzer or bleach?
I probably want the buzzer. I mean, the bleach is going to kill me, I would think. I wouldn't think that'd be good for the
It could interact with the shrooms.
Sharon and Clayton says, add this call to my list of the worst things ever. So now you're sideways with Sharon and Clayton.
Famine.
Hilarious. You guys are so funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sharon and Clayton and
Worst thing
Steve.
ever. It is the worst thing ever. Although, like Sunday night or Saturday night. Was it Saturday night? Let me know. Sunday night? Sunday night. I was outside with the Manhattan, and I take the megaphone, and the drunk people who are walking down in the village, I make them do, like, stupid human tricks, and they'll do them. Like, a couple gals down there, I was like, bust a move, and then I said, do some cartwheels, and they do them. It's kind of funny.
That's,
Fun little
that's
thing.
Steve's
Jackson,
thing.
if you're ever down there.
That's Steve's thing.
That's good.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman. Doug, there's Chairman Steve.
Well, all right,
He's
Chair.
playing in the Dotem on Friday, and he's playing with the hipster of Tower Grove South, who prides himself on denim golf.
Somebody suggested a poisonous mushroom for Steve.
Come on, get this guy up the air. Please talk about sports. It's pathetic. That's from Rambo. Remember Rambo?
golf.
First Blood, Sylvester Stallone?
I remember it.
Was Richard Crenna in that, Doug?
The
great Richard Crenna.
Also played Lucas McCoy in The Real McCoys way back when.
Guys, here's a future show idea for you. Live from Joey Vitale's backyard with Doug on mind-altering mushrooms. It would be epic. That's from the 618. Would you like to do?
No, I'm not taking mind-altering anything. I can't believe that's a thing in golf. That, geez, I better take something or I can't get through my round of golf. Give me a break.
Uncle Rich.
Fight Steve.
Uncle Rich Gould's like, well, I'm going to need some swing lubricant out there today. Then his game would kick in.
That's right. He would dial in. See, it's real, Doug.
I guess it is.
Email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. The morning after at InsideSTL.com. I cannot speak for Steve's success with his variety of different potions, but I can speak to getting tested at Mentality. If you're dealing with low energy, low motivation, you're tired all the time, weight gain, muscle loss, especially belly fat, feeling anxious, moody, or irritable, these can be symptoms of low testosterone. Mentality is a local healthcare facility that specializes in helping men feel and perform at their very best, with board-certified physicians providing a full physical consultation and a blood panel analysis, all during your first visit. Mentality focuses on free testosterone levels, which many doctors overlook, ensuring your treatment is tailored to your body. It's Mentality online at mentalityhealth.com/radio. mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's how you can find out more information. Brad Thompson's going to be joining us coming up at 9:30. And there is a head coach in the world of sport who is gaining a lot of fans. He's been around for a while, but he's gaining more and more fans, and even did so last night in defeat. We'll tell you who and why coming up. This is TMA, and it's presented by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan here for Stewart's American Mortgage. Stewie makes himself accessible to the audience. Call him directly on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the Bagel Loan if you are looking to purchase a home. Maybe you're looking at a refinance, or if you're looking to consolidate some of your ugly credit card debt. Maybe you don't know exactly what direction to go to do any of these things. Well, I'll make it easy for you. Call Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation at 314-324-4440. He's going to help you every step of the way. If it's a new home you're looking to purchase, he's going to get you to the closing table fast. Try 10 days, and he will get you the best interest rate possible, and he also has the bagel loan that can help you out. What's the bagel loan, you ask? Well, if you borrow $200,000 or more, there's no underwriting fees, no appraisal fees, no title fees, no lender fees, and no closing costs. Stewie is your guy, and he makes it easy. Any questions on rates, the industry, the trends, give Stewie a call. Call him directly on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the bagel loan. Doug Jackson's music theme, which is experiencing a lot of criticism in the Air Comfort Service text inbox, is artists with birthdays today. We heard from Andre 3000, Outkast. We heard from the drummer of Alice in Chains.
I'm supposed to guess who this is?
That's correct.
Can I have initials?
And what their birthday is.
LL.
LL.
So Taguchi.
LL.
I'm kidding. It's not LL.
Larry Lawrence? Larry Lawrence has a birthday today?
Would Larry Lawrence's name be Larry?
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Today's the 50th birthday of Jada Kiss.
How about that?
Boy,
So
I would've
Andre
thought
3000 and Jada Kiss celebrating a birthday on the same day. Born the same day, just like me and Boo Hart.
Jada Kiss born in Yonkers, where, of course, Andre 3000 is ATL proud in Atlanta, Georgia.
Of course.
Yeah. Well,
Where else would he have been born?
He's pretty famous. Andre 3000 famously from Atlanta.
Famous, yeah.
Okay, Jackie, I respect Jada Kiss. Props. That's from Eric in the Central West End. You won him over, Jackson.
I'm not playing things just because it's his birthday.
It is the Mark Hanna Evergreen Wealth Strategies 9 o'clock hour. Mark Hanna's going to be out there at the Dotem on Thursday and Friday. We'll be there as well for the festivities. Can't wait. The Dotem coming up this Thursday as we partner with the St. Louis Hero Network and our charity partner in honor of the late, great Brian McKenna. This coming Saturday is Brian McKenna Day on the South Side, Doug, in between Devonshire and Nottingham on Macklin all Saturday afternoon. That's going to be a pony.
That'll be quite a little event.
Oh, I'm telling you. I'm telling you is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Are you going to be there?
I'm planning on it. Got the kids' school picnic, and then I want to head to the South Side as well. So got the whole thing. Big weekend.
Planning on being there as well. Looking forward to that. We're going to have his nephew Ryan on TV
That's
tonight.
right.
Kind of further promote the festivities. He sent me over a bunch of pictures of Brian. There's so many great shots of him just in wacky outfits, just having fun, living life. So we're going to celebrate Brian's life this weekend, but we'll have Ryan, his nephew, on TV tonight, reminding folks all the details.
And Bob Ramsey and Andy Banker are going to join us live from Oak Valley at the Dotem.
Oh, they're coming on down?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Andy's coming on Thursday, and Ryan McKenna told me that Rammer's coming on Friday.
Nice.
I saw him at Mellow Mushroom the other night. Both of us dining in a wonderful pizza spot.
Jackson, that sounds like Yola. Unless Mellow Mushroom's a new sponsor. I don't know.
No, they're not.
Well, Mike Vintage listens to the show. Would it kill you to sponsor it, buddy?
What'd you have?
Pizza.
I figured, but what on?
I had grilled chicken and mushroom pizza.
Martin doesn't like that.
Grilled chicken's underrated on pizza.
On a pizza?
Good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Real good.
Weirdos.
No, it's good. I'm with you, Doug.
Did you play bocce ball out back?
I did not.
They have a good craft beer selection as well. This is Yola. Stop.
This is Yola. It's Yola season.
It's fine. I'll bring this up briefly. Chairman texted me on Friday. He goes, do you know anywhere in South State that has shuffleboard? And so when I heard that, I immediately thought of the old folks game with the big brooms that you throw the shuffles down. And I was like, not sure. Did you match with somebody from the Gatesworth? And he said no and sent me a picture of like bar shuffleboard with the little pucks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Jackson immediately goes to old money in South Florida.
I felt bad. Chairman, I was telling him about the shuffleboard text you sent me on Friday.
They have that at the Village Bar, where you can kind of shake the little, looks like Parmesan cheese on the sliding board. And Carson played it when he was a little kid. Somebody yelled at him and said, that's for adults only.
Oh, really?
And he said, my dad knows the owner. He was like,
I've been using that line for 48 years.
He was like 6. I'm like, don't ever say that again.
Shuffleboard used to be a very common thing that people played. It's kind of not anymore.
You're talking about the outdoor
throwing
the sticks.
Used to be right outside every hotel or Holiday Inn or wherever.
When did it get labeled as sort of, the Mantelbaum vehicle?
Mantelbaum.
Like an old person's thing.
Doug ate pizza. You health shamers are just going to let that fly by? That's from Sharon in Clayton.
No.
The only other guy I know that eats grilled chicken on a pizza is Kai, and he takes the strap. That's from the Orson Woods Whack.
Give it a shot, man. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it is good. It's very good.
Doug, I deep teased this last night with a chance to sweep in advance to the Stanley Cup Final. The defending champion Panthers lost at home to the Carolina Hurricanes, so there will be a game.
I want to thank my mechanic.
Game 5 in Raleigh.
Stop it, Iggy.
Just pops up.
There will be a Game 5 in Raleigh. And Paul Maurice, the head coach of the Panthers, who is really trending with people now that they're becoming more familiar with him. I mean, he was kind of entertaining always, but now that he's won a cup and getting a lot of exposure here. Plus, Rod the Bod isn't necessarily a hashtag delight with his post games. Paul Maurice was asked about, do you like that they call their goaltender Bob? Do you have a problem with that?
I kind of like it.
You do like
it? It's kind of folksy.
Okay, all right. The play of Bob in what was a 3-0 loss, but he only gave up 1 goal. The final 2 were empty netters. Here is Paul Maurice.
What did you like about how Bob was able to do what he could to keep you guys in striking range?
Yeah. I didn't like the last 2 at all. This gap was horse. First one was a hell of a shot, and he made 2 or 3 other real big saves. It was not a high-event game around the net. I didn't feel that you guys get a different perspective. There wasn't an awful lot of action. We got a 3-on-1 at the start, and we missed the net. And then we had another one the same kind of way. See, that's flies on what. That's how I feel about that.
No, that was a lousy sounder at the end. What happened to the one where he hit the goalpost?
I worked so hard on that.
On that one?
Yeah.
We liked the one where he hit the goalpost.
Okay, I'll go back to that one.
What was it?
Thank you. We
It was
couldn't
a
even
guy
tell what
getting
that
hit
was.
into the boards and then a whistle.
Well, sounds like a penalty was called on it, too.
Here, I'll play it one more time.
Doug, take a listen. Yeah.
Way in the distance, way off in the distance.
I had to layer that whistle in there. Yeah, a good deed, I guess.
Here he is with the sentiment on Matthew Tkachuk. And Dougie ties it into shotgunning a beer at church.
Oh, sure.
This is great.
Have you ever shotgunned a beer?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to church?
Not church.
But something spiritual?
Yeah.
Would you shotgun a beer in church? Okay, that doesn't make you a hypocrite.
Right.
There's a context and a place for all things. I will tell you they're honest. These men are honest. So that personality, like, sir, it's all real. I hated Matthew Tkachuk. It's a little too strong when I was in Winnipeg, right? Like, and then you meet him and you go, oh my God, what a wonderful human being. Remember, I've said these guys are different. Like, Barkov's personality is our room, right? And then there's, like, Sam Bennett. Sam and his wife are, raising money for cats and dogs. Like, they're really, really nice people. And then the puck drops. Sometimes you say a prayer, sometimes you shotgun a beer. It's kind of like our team.
No, don't like the sounder at the end. Who was that talking?
Paul Maurice.
Well, that was the coach. He sounded different than he did it.
That's a great description, though.
Like that?
Even that I hated him on the other team, and I'm sure every team feels that way when you're playing against him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do know Matthew Tkachuk at all, he is a great kid. That's a well described.
You like
answer.
the analysis of compartmentalizing on the ice and off the ice and shotgunning a beer.
And so about Sam Bennett, same way, great person, great family. He said, and then the puck drops. Paul Maurice looks a little like a James Spader character.
Looks like more like a banker than a hockey coach. Yeah.
Very droll, though. I like that. That was an interesting, and because the 2 goals he said he thought were bleep, they were empty net.
Oh, yeah.
goals.
They love him down there.
He's been everywhere.
You guys ever had a beer in church?
Catholic increases the odds.
Right.
I don't think I've had a beer.
No, that would be kind of weird.
I don't know what the circumstance would be.
In which you're shotgunning one in addition. Meanwhile, here is Rod Brindamore following his team ending their conference losing streak, which had gone back more than a decade.
We've all seen what Florida has done on the road this playoffs. Rod, we've all seen what Florida has done on the road this playoffs. How important is it not to get a little more uncomfortable because you're going home?
Yeah, we're not going to do that, but it is nice to, I think, enjoy it for a little bit. I think there's been a lot of crap thrown on this team that, I think we can enjoy the game for a little bit, and then now we got to, like you said, we know that they're not going away. This is not, it's not even a blimp on the radar for them is how they're looking at it, but we have to keep the gas down or keep the hammer down and give us a chance again next game.
Not crazy about that.
I like the creativity. I could use a little more audio in the whistle, maybe.
It could be almost any sport.
A little faint. No, I think
No.
Okay.
Love
I'm
it.
gonna.
Hope it's noted.
You're the man.
I just try to have some variety there.
Okay.
Although
I like
the
that.
baseball back crack's perfect.
Yes, it is.
Did Rod Brindamore sound a little defeated, even though they just won a hockey game? He seemed like, it's over, but hey, good for us.
I think that's another reason why Paul Maurice is having a big couple of weeks, even though he had won the cup and he's been around the game for a while, that because of the contrast to Brindamore, and as you mentioned, Martin doesn't sound really upbeat. Then you got Paul Maurice doing material. He's... if he could maybe line up with Pete DeBoer in the Stanley Cup final, he would look even more entertaining. But, Paul Maurice versus Rob Brindamore, the personality clash is clear.
I can't help but think what a win like that means to the franchises, though, to force another game, to be able to come home and play another game in front of 19, 20,000 people. It means millions of dollars. Just one more game.
Yeah, that's why Tom Stillman probably didn't enjoy 1.6 much.
No.
It's the importance.
That cost him at least 2 more games.
It's the importance of the stave. Always got to stave.
Stave off that elimination.
Stave off elimination. Yeah. I feel like in recent years, for whatever reason, in particular in the NHL and NBA, and this could just be a feeling that is not backed by data, I don't know. But oftentimes when a team's down 3-0, you're just kind of like, okay, it's over. They're going to get swept. And for whatever reason, that is not happening. Like I feel like it used to happen. Anybody else feel
like people
that?
show a little pulse, a little fight, win a game?
Whereas more often than not, you would think, okay, that would wrap it up. They're going to end it. And last night, as you heard Paul Maurice say, they really didn't have a whole lot of opportunities relative to the way they had dominated that series and the way that they usually put up numbers.
I don't think anyone would want to go through a series and just concede the fact that they were so much better than us. We didn't win a game. That would be an affront.
And that's why there's a gentleman's sweep in 5 games?
I guess. Yeah, I'd hate the idea that another team was so much better than my team that we lost all 4. That would be terrible.
Doug, Rob Brindamore probably has chiseled abs. Do you think about that? That's from Eric in the Central West End.
Not once until it was just brought up. Not one time did it even go through my mind.
Well, now that it's there, what do you think?
I don't know. Probably not. What is he, 50-something? Is he 50 yet? 40?
I like how Doug's
40?
actually breaking it down now. Like,
That's
what they want.
There's not a lot of people that age with chiseled abs.
I like the look of his name. Brind, apostrophe, capital A.
You know what that means? That means just a touch of love in French.
Really? Just a touch of love?
Mm-hmm.
This is why I made the list.
Paul Maurice started coaching in 1995, and he's pretty much worked straight through.
How about that?
Hartford made the move to Carolina. A couple of years in Toronto, didn't work out. Back to Carolina for a long stretch. And he was in Winnipeg quietly for about 10 years.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Blues got him. Blues got him in 19.
Rod the Bod's wife, Amy Bindenbach Brindamore. What a name.
Wow.
That's a good name.
Yeah. You're really obsessed with this guy, aren't you?
No. I've told you he's fallen off. I think he might fall off the list for 2025.
Okay.
Why is KG dressed like a NASA staffer during the moon landing?
Jackson, I'm going to go work from your booth.
I respect it, dude.
White shirt with a tie?
This is batting practice for you right now.
Glasses, I guess that's the reason.
That's what they all look like in those movies. About
Usually they were enjoying a dart, too.
A cigarette.
Ed Harris.
Can we get you a clipboard? I appreciate the fact, KG, you're taking away from the fact that I'm dressed like a hobo, which is my Tuesday routine.
I like how you said this is your cat burglar shirt.
Yes.
Email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com for our Design Air heating and cooling email today. The morning after at InsideSTL.com. That is how you can partake in the fun games on this program. It is TMA. Brad Thompson joining us coming up to talk about the Cardinals, the heater the team is on, and trying to get back on track today in Baltimore. This is the morning after, and we are in the Mark Hanna Evergreen Wealth Strategies 9 o'clock hour on 101 ESPN and the TMA YouTube channel.
Together Credit Union, located all around town, 14 branches of this great credit union that started in the shadows of Anheuser-Busch. Used to be Eagle Credit Union. Now they are Together Credit Union, and the benefit there, when you're a member, you're actually an owner of the entire operation. You benefit when the credit union does well. They've launched this high-yield checking account called Empower Checking. Empower Checking means you earn above market interest on the money that you keep in that day-to-day checking account. It's paid to you each month. It's a checking account that rewards you for your balances, not the activity. You can apply online. It's togethercu.org or stop by any of those 14 local St. Louis branches. Work directly with one of their amazing member advocates. So many cool things offered at Together Credit Union, from the Zoo debit card, the City SC debit card, and now chance for you to earn more interest. Empower Checking. Get paid to save with Empower Checking. Go to togethercu.org/Empower for full terms and details. Membership eligibility required. Together Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
Doug, that Brad Thompson's about to join us, but Sharon and Clayton is upset.
About what?
Hello. Plenty of peeps in middle age have abs. Not all of us have just waved the white towel and allowed ourselves to be bags of ass.
Dude, we get it. You work out, guy.
It's perfectly capable to have abs in your 50s. That's Sharon and Clayton not happy.
Shrubs. It's certainly capable. It would be the exception rather than the rule. Hot male screams douchebag.
Oh. Bags of ass, Martin. Jesus. It's TMA 101 ESPN. The show's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen. Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Martin Kilcoyne. And joining us right now, ladies and gentlemen, live from Baltimore, where he heard the farmer in the dell as Felix Bautista made his way to the mound yesterday. Friend of the program, Cardinal broadcaster Brad Thompson with us here on the Callier and Thompson phone lines. Morning, BT.
Good morning. How you guys doing today?
Good, except we were just called bags of ass.
Oh, that hurt.
I get it. Look, just got me thinking, man. Abs is a real commitment, middle-aged. That's a lot going on. You got to really watch what you eat. I like food too much, I think, to have full-on abs.
Yeah. You going to swing by Boog's Barbecue out there?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds up my alley. So I'm a waste of different places, and Baltimore seems to be one. At times, I don't eat any seafood, no seafood at all. So everybody keeps talking about the crab, and I don't want that. But Boog's Barbecue sounds right up my alley.
Why no seafood? You get sick eating it?
No, I never ate it growing up. It's like one of those things. If you just don't have it, like you don't want it. And now everything to me, I do the whole childlike thing where if I taste something, I dissect it in my mouth and I just taste the ocean. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh, wow.
My wife every once in a while.
Exact same way, BT.
Really? Are you?
Yeah, exactly. I can't get over like that fishy smell taste thing. It makes me want to vomit.
Yeah, so I think that maybe I'll grow up one of these days and maybe I'll keep trying stuff. If somebody tells me, hey, this isn't fishy, they usually lie. But I'll keep trying.
That's the biggest lie there ever is. It's not. It doesn't taste fishy. And meanwhile, it takes I just dip my head in the ocean.
Does that count for shrimp too and lobster?
A little different.
Yeah, for sure. All of those things.
So you're a big-time ball player. So the DeWitts are paying for the meal. Brad's on the squad. Everybody's getting a big steak, a tomahawk. And he said, "Yeah, let's have a grilled cheese."
No. I'm in on the tomahawk steak.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah,
seafood.
No. I don't have the just chicken tendy palate. Basically, everything other than seafood, I'm in.
Okay. All right. We'll let it go then.
Yeah, Doug's going to let it slide this time. Brad Thompson joins us usually on Mondays, today on Tuesday, talking it over after the holiday yesterday. I don't want to let what took place yesterday take away from what the Cardinals were able to do this weekend. So let's talk about both. We'll start with the bad, then we'll get to the good. From yesterday's perspective, man, you look at the matchup going in, and you see Charlie Morton and his numbers this year, and you're thinking, okay, this is an opportunity, especially in that ballpark. Sometimes this will happen, though. What did you see that he was doing that maybe kept the Cardinals off balance, or if the Cardinals were just not on yesterday?
Tim, you're a betting man. That was the perfect reverse lock.
Yeah,
in that
it
game,
was.
Where you look at it, you're like, everything is pointing the Cardinals' direction, and then Charlie Morton goes a season-high 6 innings and just shoved. Look, he did a good job. Cardinals didn't get anything going. You're going to run into a clunker like that. We were talking to Oli before the game and just said, hey, does anything stand out about this Orioles team? And he goes, not necessarily. So the biggest key for us is we just need to keep doing our thing. We need to play our game. And the Orioles are going to figure it out at some point. Let's not let it be this weekend. I think that is the key moving forward today. So, I mean, you're going to have a game like that. Couldn't generate any offense. The only offense was off the bat of Pedro Pajes, the 2-run shot. You let that one go, and you get right back to it. I think this team's done a really good job of responding after a down game. So that's kind of the expectation in this one.
They've done Cardinal hitters have done a pretty good job this year, putting the ball in play, not striking out so much. But yesterday was the kind of game they had too many of last year, where they struck out 10 times, and I guess games like that just happen sometimes. Huh? Is that how you write it off?
Yeah, I would say in 162, I think so. I mean, it's a trend if it continues to happen, right? And you see bad swing decisions, bad approach decisions. Charlie Morton had the breaking ball going. That's his bread and butter. I know it hadn't been all season long. Came in with a 7.68 ERA, but he was able to make some pitches. Cardinals weren't able to lay off of a lot of them. But, yeah, I don't think that you worry about something like that until it becomes a trend. Because to your point, I mean, you look at the season numbers, they've done a really good job of not striking out a lot. They hit for average. They hit with runners in scoring position. They're doing all the things that successful offenses do. So, yeah, I think that you just kind of tip your cap and say, all right, well, today, let's not let that be the case. They're going to face Sugano, who is not a hard thrower but throws everything for strikes. So we'll see what they're able to do against him.
It was interesting that Dylan Carlson was in the lineup because Tyler O'Neill was not. There's a former Cardinal on every other team, like Randall Grichuk over the weekend. But Carlson, I feel like, Brad, everybody's okay with the move. They traded him. They didn't get much. I had to look it up that it was Sean Armstrong in the trade. But I think nobody is saying, oh, there goes another Cardinal. You let him get away. They sort of gave him a shot. It didn't work. What do you think's next for him? Is he just a guy who's going to be in the league for a little while, just a fourth outfielder?
Man, I root for him. I hope that it works out for him. But we haven't seen like that long term. He's got it figured out, right? So he's toolsy. He's a better right-handed hitter than a left-handed hitter. More pop from the left side, as we saw with that 3-run shot. But right now, when you just kind of look at the skill set, it's kind of what he is. He's fourth outfielder type guy. And I'll be honest with you, I had to look up the Sean Armstrong thing too. I totally forgot what the return was on that deal. But no, it's definitely one that the Cardinals were obviously ready to give others opportunities in the outfield, and I think that he was ready for something different. But I don't think that that's going to be a deal that you look back on and it's like, oh, I can't believe we let Dylan Carlson go, especially with what you're getting out of your outfield right now.
Now that we're 54 games into the season, is it reasonable to say that the Cardinals are going to be a contender this year?
I mean, I think that you can only go off of what you have in front of you, right? And right now you've got a ball club that is competing, and they are contending. So, yes, I think down the stretch, will the pitching hold up? You sure hope so. Dusty Blake's pitching staff has done a really good job, especially their starters as of late. You look at the standings, you're 3 games back of the Cubbies, who just keep on winning. But I feel like they're going to be in this mix. Do the young guys keep getting better? That's going to be one of the biggest things. What moves are going to be made as you approach a trade deadline if you're still in the thick of things? Because I think there needs to be a combination of moves of buying and selling. That whole competing while rebuilding is not an easy thing to do. It's kind of a delicate mix. But yeah, there's no reason to believe that they're not going to contend. Does that mean this team's going to win a championship this year? No, not necessarily. Doesn't mean they can't. Like, the right team gets hot at the right time. You just never know what is going to go on. But I know this, to this point, it's been fun. It's been fun to watch them every single day. It's been fun even in a game like yesterday where they end up losing 5-2. Never feeling like they were totally out of it. Even after the Dylan Carlson 3-run shot, this team evokes like a different response, at least from me when I'm watching, and hopefully for most of the fan base of, okay, well, now what do they do? Like, how do they punch back into this game? So I feel like you're going to see a lot of fight from this team the rest of the season.
Brad Thompson's with us here on 101 ESPN, joining us, talking it over on the Callier and Thompson phone lines. Bob Nightingale had a report that the Yankees are finally just going to have to make the move, and they are going to make a move for a right-handed hitter who can play third base. You were just talking about the balance of rebuilding while still attempting to compete. If Nolan Arenado were to go to the Yankees, that would mean Nolan Arenado would have to okay that. What do you see as the landscape for the possibility of that move that Nightingale writes about?
Well, look, I don't. I'm not going to try to put myself in Arenado's shoes. We know that he has wanted to win his entire career. Did not get a chance to do much of that with the Rockies, and unfortunately has not had a chance to do a ton of it until really this season here with the Cardinals. Has not been a part of too many postseason runs, except for the Phillies a couple of years ago. The Yankees seem like a team, if I'm just looking at the tea leaves without knowing anything, that he would want to go to, a team that competes, a great team. They're out there. They're spending a bunch of money. Their expectations are to win this year. I think that fit would be very good for him, and I think that he'd be very good on that stage, especially with a lot of other veteran players. I think that fit would be really good. And on the flip side, if he were not here, and for the record, I'm glad that he is here right now, the plans for the Cardinals of seeing the future would come even more to fruition. That would open up some more opportunities for Gorman, obviously, over at third base, and it would kind of be the game plan that they expected to have coming into the season. So I don't know. I mean, his role is obviously going to be one of the biggest things to watch throughout the rest of the season. Is he still here? What does that look like? But I feel like that's a fit certainly on the Yankee side. It just depends what he wants, in his heart of hearts.
What would it do to team morale and team chemistry if you subtracted a player like that when it looks like you might have a chance to win the division?
Yeah, it's one where I still think that you have a good, strong nucleus of guys that I don't think it crumbles a room. I really don't, especially knowing that what the plans were coming into the season. I think that we were all surprised that Nolan was here in spring training and wearing the birds on the bat after Mo had talked about that being one of the biggest things they wanted to do this offseason. So if you only subtract from a team as you go up to the trade deadline that's competing, to me, that's deflating. But if you can figure out a way to do both, to set you up for the future, to still give your young guys an opportunity, but then tinker a little bit, add small pieces. I don't think you need to add big pieces, but add more certainty to the bullpen, say. Maybe add a veteran presence on the bench. I think that's something that this team could use. That's a hard role that Gorman's in right now as a young player, of being the guy that plays every couple of days. I feel like that's a really difficult one. It's that delicate balance again. I don't think it crushes you if you move a guy like that morale-wise, but you have to figure out how to add other pieces.
Over the weekend, Jordan Walker, huge day Saturday, a couple more hits Sunday, and I feel like we're analyzing every game, every swing from him. But that Saturday, that also provided not just hits, but really clutch hits. And after the defensive issue, how big can that be, do you think, moving forward?
Yeah, you hope that he builds off of stuff like that, right? And that was a cool day for him. He had the 2 RBI double, hero, and then he had the misplay and right. It's like, oh, no. And then he comes back again, right? So an emotional wave right there. Ended up going 4 for 7 those last 2 days, drove in those 3 runs. And that's what you're hoping for with him. His swing's not going to change overnight, as we've talked about. And I totally agree with you when you're watching him, because I feel the same way as we're doing the games. Like, it is an evaluation almost every time up. Like, what changes are being made? What does it look like? What adjustments has he made? And I think that we're starting to see him do a better job of his pitch decisions. Now, it's not going to happen every single time. You could see in one of his at-bats yesterday against Charlie Morton when he struck him out looking on a fastball away, you could almost just see Jordan thinking through that at-bat. He's like, okay, well, here comes another breaking ball for sure, and I'm going to be looking for that, and then fastball right by him. It's like, wow, I didn't factor that into the equation. Like, there's going to be a time where he gets so comfortable that he's just going to be able to react, and I believe that he's got the skill set to do that. But I hope that he builds off of those great experiences. All of us do, right? Anything that you do, you have a good golf shot, you feel confident. You're going to go out there and try to do it again until you lose 7 balls or hit somebody that is walking by. Those things happen too. But I feel like, yeah, I get it. I do too. I'm not a very good golfer. I enjoy doing it, but not good at it. But I really hope that he does build off of that, especially for a young player with the expectations as high as his. Like, he needs those good moments to build off of.
Brad Thompson with us from Baltimore, where the Cardinals will try to get back on track this weekend. Before we let you go, I want to make sure we talk about the atmosphere at Busch Stadium this weekend. There was some energy there and some great play, some thrilling comebacks as well, some drama. What have you observed from the start of the season? I realize opening day is an outlier, but that Angels and Twins start to the season, attendance-wise, and what you saw and what you've seen here over the last couple of weeks with regard to fans and the energy in the ballpark, because you're able to compare and contrast it all.
Yeah, no, I think that it's a great point. I think that you're starting to see a fan base buy into the brand of baseball that they're seeing. And you can use all of the stuff that we talk about throughout the season. Well, school's getting out now and more people are going to show up, and vacations. Those things are all real. But the energy at the ballpark was different against Arizona. And to your point, those were 3 games that were come from behind victories, all 1-run games. That energy matters. It definitely matters at home. The Cardinals have done nothing but take care of business at Busch Stadium. I think 19-8 is the record at Busch so far this year. I really hope down the stretch that's what we see more and more of, that consistent energy, that consistent home field advantage that is there, because you go to certain places and you feel it. It's different. New York, when you go to that place, is different. Philly is different. Like, it's got that feeling. And Busch Stadium has had that over the years as well. So I really hope that that's what it looks like next homestand. I think it's the Royals, the Dodgers coming in. It should be very entertaining. I want people to show up. I think that this team has done nothing but earn the fan base trust to this point. The players going out there doing their job. The style of baseball is fun. The defense is tight. The timely hitting. All of the things that Cardinal fans should like, baseball fans should like, they're doing. So I hope it continues. But it was definitely a different vibe against the Diamondbacks.
And they're going to have a great series of homestands coming up in the month of June. Royals coming to town, then the Dodgers. You got a 4-game series with the Cubs in June. So if there is going to be attendance, you're certainly going to see it in the month of June. If the Cardinals can continue to play well, that adds to it even more. Brad Thompson with us here on TMA, giving us his perspective. Cardinals and Orioles again coming up later on today. Brad, always appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much.
Guys, thanks for having me. I'm going to go work on my abs. I feel bad about myself now.
Yeah, get yourself in
that's
shape.
what Sharon does. She shames us. There's Brad Thompson here on the Collier and Thompson phone lines, 101 ESPN, and she said we're bags of ass. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it felt like it. Yeah.
I think the nice move by Tim not to stoke the media wars with Katie Wu leaving Brad Thompson off the
Yeah, I felt like that might distract him.
It could also kind of
distract him.
infect the team at a time when they've been playing well.
Chemistry down now, yeah. Among the guys who are no longer with the club.
Quamain Vayukas likes to dunk on me.
Yeah.
And that Vayukas is pretty tall. Nice call, Martin. And then shows Boog's Barbecue permanently closed, but that would be a franchise in Ocean City, Maryland. The Boog's Barbecue referred to as at Camden Yards.
Like you can get it at Camden Yards.
Along the right field walkway out there. So thanks for the correction, but it's not what was referenced. Carry on.
This Cardinal team's been winning at home without support. I believe they're keeping themselves motivated. That's from the 618.
Okay. Well, that's important to be self-motivated. Colorado's 6-22 at home. I don't know what's happening there. 3-23 on the road. I'm fascinated by just how bad they are.
What?
I'm fascinated by just how bad they are. 9-45 now. Beat the Yankees the other night, but 9-45.
The Yankees responded by beating them 13-1 the next day.
They didn't like it much.
Doug, they are ranked 30th in the Athletics power rankings that just came out.
I would think that'd be the easy one.
So I put a stat down. This came from Quinn STL Cards on Twitter. Shout out to Quinn.
Well, this is, look at this, Jackson's Tim Cardinals by the numbers.
Yeah. So this was as
in the Stiefel dossier.
This was as of Sunday, so you can say they're 19-9. Now, 1 month ago, the Cardinals started their turnaround. At the time, they had the second fewest wins in the NL a month ago. Since then, they have gone 19-9. But if they instead lost every single game and went 0-28, they would still have the second fewest wins in the National League over the Colorado Rockies. Shout out to Quinn STL Cards.
Well, thank you, Quinn. I don't think they're going to lose their next 28.
No, I don't think that's going to happen either.
Cardinals 30 wins. Last year, Jackson, what's the math? They were at 30 wins.
Oh, on June 8th. June 9th. June 9th. They were sitting on 30 wins on June 9th of
so
last year.
that's 2 weeks from yesterday.
Yeah.
So any wins accumulated between now and June 9th will be...
Yeah. I'm going to keep a look on that barometer as the season
Martin,
goes on.
you got an apology from Quamain Vayukas IV. This is a big moment. Egg on my face. I'll wear that one. Sorry to Martin. I'm going to take some time away. Quamain Vayukas IV is going to take some time.
Why don't you do that, pal?
that.
Take some time away. Don't whisper our success.
They're making millions of dollars to play a game. They shouldn't need encouragement to do anything. They should be busting their heads because it's their job. That's from Mongo.
Well, that's true, too.
They love the fans, not money.
That's right. Cardinals currently on a pace to win 90 games.
Oh. Festus was a tick off.
Yeah, Festus from Festus.
We snickered when he said that. Here they are.
I think he said 95.
He said between 90 and 95.
Okay.
That's what he said.
Do you know we have the best fans in baseball in St. Louis?
Oh, that's awesome.
It is awesome. It's wonderful.
Kenny Wallace?
That's Stingray. Big Mississippi State fan. Unfortunately, got sideways with Daniel Tosh.
We didn't get sideways with us. We should still have him on.
He texted me after the tornadoes in the air. You know, he's a big weather guy, and he wanted to see how we were doing. He texted you too?
No, but I know he's a big weather guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You realize the Orioles' run differential is way worse than the White Sox?
Wow.
That's hard to believe. 92 run differential, minus 92 for the Orioles. White Sox only minus 51.
Over the weekend, ESPN baseball columnists did I guess 50 games into the season, They were asked, I guess you'd call it a Gallup poll, Doug. Those would
I
be
wouldn't.
your words. Biggest disappointment in baseball, and they went with the Orioles. One guy said the Diamondbacks. And then of the 6 teams currently in the playoffs in the National League, and at the time the Cardinals were in there, I don't know where it is now. It's moving target. How many of those teams actually make the playoffs? And they all shorted the Cardinals getting into the playoffs. So, Doug, if you want to fight Buster Olney or David Schoenfeld.
No, I don't need to punch any of them, but I'm sure the Cardinals have not made believers out of a lot of people yet. I mean, we're skeptical. We watch them every day and root for them. So I'm sure the national media is not sold just yet. Going to take another month or so before that would happen, I would think.
Padres have cooled off a bit. They had a clubhouse fight or something the other day.
Jackson called the shot on Mike Shilton.
Shilton was on a hot seat.
Well, that clubhouse is hot.
Get involved on the program. Air Comfort Service text inbox 314-399-9646. You're also welcome to call in. Callier and Thompson phone lines 314-974-0101. The program's called TMA. It's presented by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
This is Jackson with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Heading to the ice. The Hurricanes defeated the Panthers last night 3-0. That means they're back in that series 3-1 as the Panthers lead. And coming up tonight, Stars Oilers as the Oilers lead 2-1 in that series. It's a 7 o'clock puck drop. That was another Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, is it T-Boz's birthday? Is it Chili's birthday? Or is it Left Eye's birthday?
Today would have been Left Eye's birthday.
Was married to Andre Rison and burned down his house?
That's correct. I don't know about the marriage, but I knew they were together. They were married?
Kind of a tumultuous right before her end of her life. So it's tough. But
You ever burned down the home of an ex-lover?
No, you know my thing with fire. I'm constantly afraid of
fire
things.
and seafood.
Well, I'm just afraid something's going to
catch on fire,
catch a blaze, really. And so I'm very cautious when it comes to
most
open
people
flames.
are anti-fire.
Yeah, but people, there's like, growing up, there's always kids who like mess around with fire.
Yeah, pyros.
Yeah, it's
he's a little pyro.
I don't. That always scared me.
Okay, so you've never, to answer Doug's question, you've never burned down the house.
I don't even shoot off fireworks myself. I'll enjoy them, but I'm not going to light
Is that because you look at it as something that people in the do wouldn't do?
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I sniffed that right away.
All that soot, you get soot all over you.
Like when you burn a little snake on the sidewalk.
Yeah,
just chars the whole.
Boy, they let him off in Wentzville. I've been there for 4th of July. It's like the Tet Offensive out there. Never seen so much fireworks. I was looking for a helicopter board to get out of there.
That's the rare use of the Tet Offensive to describe fire. I like it. Wow.
You can get involved on the program, 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service text inbox. Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. John Scores is in there talking to the old Huntley Hot Wife Hunter.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fun to see him talking to the master of the custodial arts, as well as Jake in St. Genevieve, who says, oh my God, shut up, Sharon. He is worn out by Sharon Martin. He doesn't like that you leave at 10, as you know. You want to meet the people at the Dotem this week.
I told Tim during the break I'm going to bring name tags and see if people are willing to put on their name tag.
And
Morrison
I told
Woods
Martin,
Wacko, Mr. Licks, etc.
I told Martin, I said, the people who tend to be a little more critical, I guess, of the people on the program or the program itself are not the people who come to the events, and if they are, they value their anonymity like gold, Doug, like gold. So
I'll have them available for all takers. At the Christmas party, Ray King ran up to me and said, Martin, I'm Ray King. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And he said,
he's a delight.
And he said, I got to go make out with Doug. And they took off.
No,
and I'm like,
yeah, not that delightful.
But I will have name tags available. I'm also going to have a complaint stand. I'm going to have a log there. I'm going to just write down everyone's complaints. File it.
Jackson, you're ball striking with your father?
Yeah, Thursday. Yeah, father and cousin. We're going to go out there and go low. If someone needs a fourth for Friday, my dad's available. He loves to ball strike.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so if anyone
Friday's
needs a fourth,
sold out?
Yeah, if someone drops out, let me know. Jeffrey Burkett will be right there.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, Thursday, me and my dad are playing together. It's going to be fun, really fun.
And the weather's supposed to be okay, or?
Yeah.
Well, let's hope.
I don't know anymore. I feel like it's always about to rain.
I thought it was
and
supposed to be
doesn't
nice
rain.
today, and I'm looking outside, and it's nothing but clouds, so I don't know.
It was supposed to rain yesterday. It was a pretty nice day. It was overcasty,
Yeah, it
but
was. Yeah.
no rain.
Wednesday, there was no rain in the forecast. Now 50% chance of showers. Thursday, now chance of showers. Friday, chance of showers. It does look like starting at least on Saturday that you get what you would expect at this time of year in the St. Louis area, which is just sun.
Right.
We've had quite a year of weather in the area, going really back to November. Jake in St. Genevieve wants you to know, Martin, I'm sorry I can't make the Dotem. Hey, I love the program. I just can't make the Dotem. Jake in St. Genevieve.
That's nice.
That's fair.
That's a W.
Wonderful.
Fair. I wouldn't mind. I'm text sourcing. People texting in. I'll be there Thursday. I'll be there
Like
Friday.
a roll call.
That way, I like a little roll call, and then I can see who will be attending.
Get to know the listeners.
Want to engage in person.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable to me.
What could go wrong?
I can't imagine anything.
Listen here, pal. Sick of it. Sick of you and your hostile texts.
They want their texts and their emails read, but then they don't want people to know who they are?
Come on.
That's weird.
Be better.
When will someone grow a pair in the media and run Lutz out of town? Doug?
Seems like a Martin vehicle.
I'm not going to run. Yeah.
That's the Gray Summit Gray Goose Guzzler.
Lutz Pfannenstiel, his squad, City SC, hasn't won a game in their last match. Last 11 matches. They're 0-8-3. Yep. Their last win was in March. I believe it'll be June soon.
Nice.
Their last win was in March.
I'm trying to read the table, but they even do that weird. Baby! The record's 2-8-5. Yeah. Not good.
So when are you going to grow your pair?
I probably won't. I'll probably chicken out and not yell at him.
Guys, they really are bad. Accents from Just Don't Press Play.
Okay.
I think we're on board with that take. They have not won a match in their last 11. 0-8.
Still, Roman Berkey! Still selling out every game, though?
I think so. It'll be interesting to see because people that go to those games are diehards. Mm-hmm. And if there was a Cardinal equivalent, they'd have the tickets, but they wouldn't go. But it's a pretty pricey operation. Like this Saturday, they play at 1:30. They're at home. It's San Jose, Doug. The Earthquakes are coming to town. 1:30, so I'll bet you it'll be close to full. But you'll see a little bit of that, like if they're corporate seats or the office has them.
Mm-hmm. Good place to go get some food. Good grub there,
Good
man.
grub.
Really good grub.
Why do you not go, Jackson?
Won't be at the Dotem. I'll be in St. Bart's. Stand up. I had a charcuterie brainstorming event at the Glendale Grind this morning. Never been that far south before, but I'm trying to tap into that wannabe country club market. Not a bad spot at all. Have a great week. By appointment only. That's from the self-made stay-at-home Laduma.
He's never been as far south as Glendale.
Who said he?
St. Bart's in late May. Oof.
Why would you say that?
It's Hampton season, man. You know that.
It's Hampton season. I should be in the Hamptons in May and not St. Bart's?
St. Bart's in November. But you got to be Hamptons, Montauk, Cape Cod.
That's where I need to be.
You're going to Cape Cod a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, sweet Kai.
Yep.
Plowhawk is pissed.
No, in fact, he was jubilant that he
looking for a few
save
more
on the plate.
Need a few more declines.
I love that.
Just Don't Press Push says some fans have called for a walking out of a Doggies game.
Oh,
After
gosh,
what?
Don't start that.
Oh, as a sign of protest. Get up and walk out.
I don't like that.
Sir, you can't take that beer with you. It's $20 beer. Can't take it with you. All right, screw the walkout.
That'll keep you in.
Screw the walkout. I'm sitting.
They're still selling out, but no one stands the entire game anymore. That's from the Jerkwood from Kirkwood.
Well, that's when you know, Tim. They've had enough.
No, they don't stand. I love the standing. I'm pro-stand. Doug's anti-stand.
I don't want someone standing right in front of me. I think you can enjoy the game and be a good fan sitting so everyone can see.
I don't want to say I'm a bad soccer fan, Doug. Last year, Kim and I were in a section where they were standing the whole time. And for about a half, we just sat, just visited. Well, there was a guy in front of me calling every play. So I didn't
nice. That's awesome.
I didn't miss any of it. Pass it. Oh, come on. Love it. He was open. No. Settle it. Oh. No. Far downfield. The entire game. Very enjoyable.
That doesn't get old or anything. Nice ball, Edward. They scream that. Yes. Nice ball. Good ball.
Probably coaches his son's fourth grade CYC team.
Okay. Well, I don't like the fan walkout, though. That's no good.
Quit talking weather. We know it's sunny. Give it a shine off Tim's head. That's from the Loaded Links in the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat.
Yeah, that was uncalled for.
Do you think, Doug, on Thursday and Friday at the golf tournament, it'll be raining, except on Tim's foursome? Is that how it works?
Could well happen. Yeah. But on these apps, if there's any chance of rain at all, they always say rain. It looks like it's going to rain all day. That's what we learned
from Memorial Day weekend. It barely rained relative to what the forecast looked like.
Mm-hmm. It can rain for 20 minutes at 2 in the morning, and the app's going to say rain.
Dave Murray used to say changeable skies. And I said, well, what does that mean? He goes, well, things could change. I'm like, changeable sports. What's happening with the Cardinals tonight? Changeable sports. I like changeable skies.
That buys you a lot of elbow room when you say changeable skies. But it's not an exact science, so.
And if they ever really got the snow forecast wrong, I like Dave the next day would say, "Hey, we'll get back on track." That was his way of loosely referencing that they might have been wrong. We'll get back on track.
Martin, you got onboarding here in the 10 o'clock hour. And we will have the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today coming up at 10:45. BK and Ferrario at 11 o'clock. You can email in the morning after at InsideSTL.com for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. The program's called TMA. It's presented by Brian Crouppen on 101 ESPN. Michael's Flooring's online at Michael's Flooring, which is igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com. And when you check out their website, you can get 3 samples free from Proximity Mills. All you got to do is go to igotfloored.com. Michael's has been family and locally owned for over 30 years. Michael takes pride in helping and making sure his employees are happy and make a great living. His passion's flooring. And when you order from him, he wants you to have the best experience for the best price. That's why he is making sure he gets the best installers and giving them $7 a square yard, which is incredible compensation in this industry. Just come in or talk to them, and you're going to see the difference. They want to make sure they suggest the best thing for you and not pushing what corporate is telling them they have too much of. They have it all, but carpet is awesome, and it's back. They have so many varieties of all flooring and have 3 easy-to-get-to locations in St. Louis. They're in Creve Coeur, Darden Prairie, and St. Peter's. Come see why people are loving getting floored by Michael, and make sure you visit igotfloored.com.
question.
It's TMA 101 ESPN, and we welcome you to participate in the program however you want to. You can call in. You got the Callier and Thompson phone lines, 314-974-0101. You got the Michelob Ultra YouTube chat. That's at youtube.com/TMASTL. And then the Air Comfort Service text inbox, the 314-399-9646. Why do you donkeys, oh, here we go, Doug.
Oh, no.
Only say the texts from Mr. Lick's JV golf coach or Sharon and Clayton, or that stay-at-home crackhead mom. There are more people than that, you flea bags. That's from Chairman's pocket partner.
You ever been called a flea bag?
Kind of like it.
Not bad.
Not at all.
I've been called a donkey before.
Still hurts.
Never a flea bag. Yeah, so this will take some time to get over.
Sharon's not happy that we're not reading all of her texts, so we can't win either way. She says she sent in a recommendation for the show Sirens.
Okay.
Kevin Bacon, Julianne Moore. I watched the Brett Favre Untold on Netflix over the weekend.
How was that?
It was focused not necessarily on his success, but his downfall with the retirements, unretirements, the Jen Sturger picture. You may recall her from Florida State. Then she started working at the Jets, and he was alleged to have sent her a picture of his love. And then the Mississippi funding issue that he is in the midst of.
Okay.
So, and then that was more the focal point, as you might imagine. Brett Favre was asked. I always am like, okay, if you're going to do this, then you got to ask the person to be interviewed. They did. He did not participate in the program.
Probably a good move by him, because I'm sure he knew it was all going to be negative.
I would imagine he was advised by counsel, hey, you got to keep your mouth shut while this stuff's going on. So it doesn't have the same recommendation for me as your friends and neighbors. Have you started watching that, Jackson?
No, I've so currently my Apple TV subscription has lapsed after the end of Severance. You know, I have this thing, I'm going to be honest. So Netflix and Apple TV, longtime subscriber to both. I am not currently, because I have decided that I have too many options when it comes to watching stuff.
All right. What are you watching if you're not watching Netflix or Apple TV? You're in the middle of the T-Wolves and Thunder?
Oh, there's so much ball on, so there's no doubt about that. But then, you know, Last of Us, they just had their season finale, so I've been watching that. But, like, when I'll start watching something, I'll be like, but there's so many other options. Maybe I should, 20 minutes in, I'll be like, maybe I should go something else. And then I end up just not watching anything. So if I limit my options, I think I have just HBO Max currently and maybe Paramount, then, honestly, limiting my options is better for me. With my ADD riddled brain, I'm always concerned, maybe I should be watching something else. Maybe this isn't the perfect thing to watch. When in reality, whereas it used to be when you had cable, this movie was on and you were watching it, or else you were just probably not watching anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So
better for your bank account, too, not to have 4 or 5 different subscriptions.
For sure. And now all those streaming services are well, if you want to have no ads, you have to pay an extra $3 or $4 a month, which I always do because I don't like watching the commercials with it. So currently not a subscriber to Apple TV or Netflix.
Jackson's buddy, Sweet Kai, one of the reasons he's probably tight financially right now is that trip to Cape Cod. Hey, Sharon, every time Tim chooses to read one of your texts, you should be honored. It's not to be taken for granted. Be grateful, damn it. That's from Sweet Kai.
Well, I want him to raise my child.
Major Lemming play there.
Great recommendation on the Bin Laden documentary. Flew through it last night. Doug, that's on Netflix. That text
that's very
comes
good.
from Big Show. Scott's Wrinkled Ballsack says, finished the Bin Laden doc. Great watch. Transition to the Favre doc. Disappointing. Turns out Favre is a real sleazeball, certainly is the way it's represented. That would be how that story is told on Netflix. Like I said, you didn't hear his side of it, but they did ask him to be interviewed. So, what else can you ask for there? Scott's Wrinkled Ballsack with that. Yeah, if I'm giving out, Doug, you want a 5-star scale or a 4-star scale? I'll do either one.
How about a 5-star scale?
5-star scale. Your friends and neighbors, 5 stars. Bin Laden documentary, 5 stars. The Favre Untold, 3 stars.
Okay, 3 stars.
Just my stars. Anybody else want any stars for any other shows? I'll be happy to give them out for you.
Okay, all right.
Jackson has goodorbad.com. I invested in it. I have never seen a monetization strategy, and so I had my attorney review the operating agreement. It turns out I can start a competing brand.
Which is fine. Just know that we're currently pre-revenue. And so
I've ever heard a business describe itself as pre-revenue. I feel like we've worked at some stations.
Yeah, but I'm telling, Amazon didn't turn a profit for a long time. I'm pre-revenue. My valuation, though, going through the roof. I just need an angel investor.
What do you mean Amazon didn't turn a profit?
That's always the story, is that they would lose money or they wouldn't make profit.
Oftentimes, like social media platforms.
Yeah, right. They don't necessarily turn
The Athletic.
a profit. Yeah, but your valuation is higher and higher. Your company is worth a lot.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, But again, I'm not a VC.
You can't be unprofitable for very long. Not for very long, you can't be.
Ooh, I don't know.
What would be the incentive to keep a business going if it doesn't become profitable?
Because the possibility when it does become profitable, it'd be a monster.
So there's no in-between, geez, we can't make any money, and now we're
I don't know. I'm just telling you that goodorbad.com is currently pre-revenue.
Okay.
Doug, if you can invest in a business that's pre-revenue.
Right. We've been valued at $36, but going up.
Ooh, Tim be looking fresh this morning. Papa. That's some tiny pee-pee. You like when I get dialed up?
For sure.
What if I had the glasses on? See, Chairman Kurt's got the glasses on.
Chairman Kurt looks great.
Yeah.
Looks like a rock star.
I was telling Martin, I knew we had this stuff today.
Sound story. We have sound story stuff. We're not going into any sovereign nations.
So I knew I needed to try on the suit. It had been a while since I put it on.
Suit?
Yeah.
I'm a sport coat guy.
Meant to do that yesterday. Didn't quite get around to it, Doug.
How'd it go?
I tried it on this morning. I think I've bulked a little bit since the last time I wore it.
So it doesn't fit, does it?
No, I can get in there.
Okay.
I can't make any sudden movements today at the meeting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That thing would rip.
You won't be doing any long toss.
Right.
Makes sense.
Well, can you have it taken out a little bit? Maybe not today, but tomorrow, so the next time you need it?
I'll look into that.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You know how to do that?
No, but I'll try.
Oh. Well, thank you. Or maybe I should just lose a few pounds.
Well, is it muscle or are you beefing up?
Little of this, little of that.
Okay.
Hey, Fleabag texter. I'm betting maybe 0.100 in the text inbox for being read, and I'm okay with that. I'm honored to hear Tim read my alias every now and again. You want more text read? Be better at texting! That's from Stepdad Gary.
That goes out to some of the emailers, too.
Oh, is that right? You were filtering?
I haven't had a whole lot come through today, but there's been a little discussion lately about my filtering process.
And what is your filtering process for the purpose of having it out there in the open?
You can't be not funny and long.
No, bad combination. Just don't be too long, period.
You better be bringing the laughs if you're going 7 paragraphs.
Yeah, 3 or 4 sentences or so, that's plenty, right?
Yeah, hit the hole.
Yeah. Don't worry about me, Kai. You should be spending your time coming up with new ways to waste money on your upcoming wedding for a marriage that probably won't last 5 years. That's Sharon and Clayton.
Damn.
She came right back over the top.
Easy. That's family. Family. Easy.
Sweet Sweet Kai's family?
To me, yeah.
So now you're sideways with Sharon and Clayton.
Yeah, that was a cheap shot.
You want her out of the Real Housewives of TMA?
Take a shot at Sweet Sweet Kai, but not his lovely betrothed.
Doug, we leave the wives and the families out of it. That's the policy here. It's mafia rules on this.
This Sharon, she's a real spitfire.
Now, the recovering alcoholic has a text that's directed at Kai and what sounds like a very graphic act that's going to take place in Cape Cod. No. You're fine with that, though, because it's just directed to Kai and not his wife, fiance?
That's a little overboard. You can say you're going to rub honey all over my body, but don't talk about my mother.
That's the policy. In so many words.
It's an odd insult to come after Plowsy about honey on his body and take a shot at his mother as well.
Yeah, if it's a shot just at Sweet Sweet Kai, he's allowed himself into the arena, into the Lion's Den.
The Swing Haven board member is sending in pictures of his wife. I don't know what spurred that, but Doug, that's been going on in the show for about a
feeling
decade.
overcomes you.
He says, boys, I've found sending in pictures of your hot wife helps get you read on the show. That's from the Swing Haven board member, and he's going hot wifing.
Okay.
Is she a hot wife, or was that just a normal adjective for the wife?
Doug.
That was for you, Doug.
To be a hot wife, they have to be really attractive?
I think that's just being a hot wife. But a hot wife, I think that's like
there's different interpretations on it, and I can't speak for the Swing Haven board member. He can only speak for himself. You're welcome to get involved. The morning after at InsideSTL.com for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. The program's called TMA. It's presented by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN. You want to do business with a jeweler who has been local and is family owned, and that's where you're going to get into doing business with Moritz Reusch online at ninjabling.com. They are located in Richmond Heights, close to Clayton, and right across the street from the Galleria and the Tower on the 15th floor. Been around since 1982, and the Moritz Reusch experience in the industry goes back even further, including that Dan Reusch is third generation in the jewelry industry. It's Moritz Reusch online at ninjabling.com. It's super important, I think, for people when they buy jewelry. They want to feel comfortable. They're going to tell the people their budget. They want to have that budget adhered to. You're going to get that with Moritz Reusch. Private quality sales experience in addition to lots of jewelry right there at the store. It's Moritz Reusch online at ninjabling.com. Doug, Jackson's music theme today is artists celebrating birthdays.
Okay.
This is Wait Period, 3 Stacks. This is off Kid Cudi's album in 2017.
Kid Cudi.
And I really like the steel drums in this one.
Okay.
Do you feel like you're enjoying a boat drink?
Not yet, no.
I like a boat drink. Come on, this is toe tapping music right here, Doug.
Oh.
Lord.
What's your favorite Kid Cudi jam?
I guess this one's the only one I've ever heard.
Day and Night's got to be way up there.
I mean, Day and Night's the George Washington.
Pursue the Happiness got a big kick when the movie Project X came out.
And that was Matthew Broderick dealing with, was that monkeys or warfare in the early 1980s?
I don't know what he was dealing with, but it was a lot.
War games? I'm very confused. And Project X was about a high school party.
Telling you there's a Project X from the 1980s. You're going to want to have this segment back.
Is that right?
I'm just warning you.
I love Matthew Broderick.
It's up to you. Do you want to fold or do you want to play the hand? I'm here to play the hand.
I still got Kid Cudi playing.
And he was up against war monkeys?
There was War Games.
War Games. I thought monkeys were in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Of course I'm right.
War monkeys.
What else am I doing here?
So there was a Project X in the 80s?
Yeah.
Helen Hunt.
Oh, I like Helen Hunt.
As good as it gets. And she starred with Mark McGuire in a scene. Is that correct?
And as good as it gets?
No.
Mad About You?
Mad About You.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I've seen
And he was
that.
wearing a
Wake Up,
towel?
Jackson.
Am I correct on that? Of course I'm.
That's all he had was a towel, I guess. Yeah. That's when he was still here, right?
That's correct. It'd be odd if they used him like in the last few months, you know.
Well, you get him when you can.
They put the request in 98,
right?
And he got around to it now in his 60s.
He's busy, yeah.
Dr. Brandon Pryor is not too busy to talk it over with you. He is at 100westdental.com, and he's at the Dotem with the closest to the pin competition this coming Thursday and Friday. Built brand new, incredible offices. They do not look like your typical dentist office, with the most modern technology, with the patient experience at the front of mind. Located in Baldwin on Manchester Road, one of the very few dental offices that offer virtual consultations with the doctor. No phone call is needed to get into 100 West Dental. Just check the calendar online for availability and book right then and there. And that is where you go, 100westdental.com. No dental insurance, no problem. The membership plan aids in the cost of dental work for those who do not have dental insurance. It's 100 West Dental. And they have an offer going on right now that if you mention my name, you get $1,000 off Invisalign. And if you're on the fence about Invisalign, they have a digital scanner that can show you a simulation of what it'll look like before you even go through with it. It's 100westdental.com. That's 100westdental.com. Doug, Project X 1987 Post-Dispatch columnist Benjamin Hockman texting me that information.
87.
Yeah, the owner of goodorbad.com, who now is dealing with my competition.
Well,
didn't have that information.
That movie did not feature the song Pursue the Happiness, sang by the aforementioned Kid Cudi. That did happen in 2012's Project X about a high school party. Also, the song Heads Will Roll was in that. Pretty banging soundtrack.
Don't say banging soundtrack.
It is. You ever heard the Heads Will Roll?
I don't think so.
Okay, hold on.
I'm going to now, I guess.
Sharon's insufferable. Go eat some tofu and get off our airwaves. Doug, we have developments in college football with the playoff. Brett McMurphy is on the Twitter tweets this morning, active as the day is long, and it looks like there are two competing proposals for the college football playoff.
Okay.
Here is what you got. Tell me what you prefer.
All right.
A college football playoff format with 5 auto bids.
5 auto bids.
Power 4 conference champions and 1 group of 6 team, plus the rest of the field filled with at-large teams, whether it's 12, 14, or 16 team field, has been proposed multiple times to both the Big Ten and the SEC, sources said. Brett McMurphy reporting. The Big Ten and SEC have proposed 4 auto bids for their leagues, 2 each for the ACC and Big 12, 1 for the group of 6, and then 3 at-large teams. So then in that situation, theoretically, you could have 7 teams from the SEC. I doubt that would happen. Or 7 teams from the Big Ten. But there would be 3 at-large. So that is their contention. Shane Beamer, who Jackson does not like, am I correct on that?
I do not like Shane Beamer.
Why?
Interviewed this. Yeah, why don't you like him?
The stuff with Illinois last year, I didn't love going after Bielema. There was one time
You didn't like him though before that took
No,
place.
it was in Columbia, 2024 maybe. No, 23. They were down like 20, maybe 21, and it was like late in the third. He punted, and I said he shouldn't. I thought they should have fired him on the sidelines then. I thought it was weak. And he's always perturbed by stuff. Yeah.
I think what set you off was when they had a big win on a Saturday night and he performed Fantasia's When I See You with his team in a dedication to his wife for her birthday.
He did that?
Yeah.
I'd kind of be on board with that.
Was Larry Johnson of Penn State and the Chiefs in that video?
I don't know who was in the video.
Am I right on that?
Grandmama?
No. I would be of UNLV and the Charlotte Hornets.
Different Larry Johnson.
Right. Before they became the Bobcats and then
back to
the Hornets.
Okay.
Right. Haven't won a damn thing in that time.
This guy's upset about the Charlotte franchise, and all I'm trying to do is talk Fantasia.
Yep, 2007, Larry Johnson in the music video. I didn't need to check. I knew you were right.
And Shane Beamer was there?
So Shane Beamer says he's on board with the SEC going to 9 conference games. However, certainly I'm for it. But before we say we're all in on 9, I think I speak for every coach in the league when we just say, what exactly are the playoffs going to look like in the future? This is his issue. To Beamer's point, it's become very clear that the SEC moving to 9 conference games is tied to the college football playoff format changes. Even before the CFP selection committee left out 3 SEC teams, do you remember who those teams were?
3 SEC teams this last year?
Yep.
Was it Ole Miss?
Yes.
Yeah. They were not happy. Missouri, man, they took it.
You could make your case.
Yeah. Now's the time, too.
Okay.
South Carolina, his Gamecocks were on the outside.
That's right.
Looking in as well. The SEC and Big Ten had concerns about the committee's ability to value the right things in picking the best field, according to multiple sources. CBS Sports reported extensively about those concerns back in December. Ahead of the start of the SEC spring meetings in Florida, where the conference schedule debate is expected to be the hottest top of the week, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey hit on these concerns again, decrying what the committee prioritized last season in selecting the 12-team field. It's clear that not losing becomes more important than beating the University of Georgia, which 2 of our teams that were left out did. Nobody had that kind of quality win. You can't just run down a college football playoff selection idea without thinking, well, if we play 8 or 9 games, that's the depth of analysis we're looking at. In other words, the message from last year was lose fewer games. It wasn't about quality of wins. So I have to say, even though I know, and I guess right now the SEC is kind of the villain in the story, I get where Greg Sankey, the commissioner, and the coaches are coming from, because if you play 9 SEC games, while as fans, it's a hell of a lot more entertaining than some blood donor. It obviously increases the chances of losing. And if the committee is sending the message that we're going to put, whomever, SMU in, or value Boise State and put them up with a bye, I realize they changed that seating procedure now, that you do not want to be in a spot where you potentially risk another loss, because the goal at the end of it all is getting into the playoff. So I do understand it. So therefore, you'd like the committee to say what is more valuable.
Yeah, I totally get why, but 9 SEC, that's just the answer. Like, I'm so done watching the 4 blood donor games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's so
almost
boring.
No entertainment value there at all.
Especially like when a team like Georgia or Bama, who play bigger opponents sometimes early in the season, and then like in late November playing some nobody. It's like
shot at Mercer.
Shot at
friend of the SEC, UMass,
the Citadel.
Doug, the Minutemen come a-calling in Columbia, Missouri.
Can't
on
wait.
September 27th.
Can't wait for them to
come
come
for my birthday. Lou Rowe, Marcus Camby, and John Calipari.
Like, it's just so lame for like what is, I think, like one of, if not the coolest sports. Like, college football is as cool and as good as it gets, but when you have something like that, it's so deflating. And I get the college football playoff and getting into that is the most important thing, but when you're only playing 8 SEC games, it kind of feels like you're manipulating it, even though I know that's always been the case.
There are talks, per this article in CBS, about what would happen to rivalry games with SEC non-conference games if the SEC moves to 9 conference games. So South Carolina, Clemson is the one that Beamer's talking about. Georgia, Georgia Tech, Florida, Florida State, Kentucky, Louisville. If the SEC moves to 9 conference games, Missouri has on their schedule this year Kansas, in coming years, Kansas and Illinois.
Right.
What would happen there? So, I mean, I think it benefits the fans. I realize if you're a fan of a smaller school, it does not. So it cuts both ways, and I'm not oblivious to that. But this crap where you go down there and you go, okay, I guess I got to buy my Central Arkansas tickets and my UMass tickets so I can see the South Carolina and Alabama games. It's kind of like the preseason football complaints in the NFL.
Totally.
It's warm garbage is what it is, and it might be more than warm. It might be hot garbage.
Tepid?
Lukewarm.
Well, anytime you have a committee has got to determine who a lot of the playoff teams are, it's going to be subjective, and there's going to be bias and prejudices involved. So the more you can get conference champions getting the automatic bids, the better. And I think that you just have to count on a committee to make smarter choices. I don't know how any other way around it in college football. You just can't play enough games to make sure that everybody who's there absolutely deserves to be there. I'm not sure there's any way around it. I'm not sure there's any system you could set up where everyone's going to say, oh, okay, now that's perfect. Now that'll work.
Beamer is the classic douche. Doug, you like a classic douche?
I kind of like it, yeah.
Classically handsome.
He uses a trick play that takes advantage of a signal used simply to keep players safe, then gets all red-ass when he gets called for it. He can eat a bag of, I have to edit on the fly, weens.
No.
Be better. That's from Illini Greg in Green Bay.
Okay. All right. So that's what it gets down to. Him eating a bag of
weens.
Okay.
Sharon, please text in. It's been 2 minutes since your last text. That's from Sharon's Ladue Pool Boy.
She doesn't text in more than anyone else. She just gets read because she's...
It's refreshing to see rich white women.
That's why. That's it right there. It's just refreshing.
I don't know what they're going to wind up doing with this, but they got to knock it out here because they have to have things in place for 2026, in part for television.
Well, if they go to 16, you have to believe the deserving teams are going to get in. There's always going to be arguments about who is 15, 16, 17, 18, who got left out. But if there's a chance that everyone considers you the 17th best team in the nation, you don't need to be playing for the national championship.
You see, they got rid of the bye games by conference champion, and now you could have multiple SEC or Big Ten teams with byes.
Straight seeding.
They got rid of that this past week.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a W as well, because what we had last year with Boise State?
No, shot at Boise State.
Boise State thing was just like, and I get it, but also we can do better.
Are they still doing just that first round of games on campuses?
As it stands, but things could change here if they go to a 16-team format. And it per McMurphy, it looks like 16 teams is live. It's just a matter of what the breakdown will be.
Right.
So I like, if you're going to have auto bids to the Big Ten and SEC, when it's all said and done, the Big Ten and SEC are running this thing, and they're not moving off of that position per McMurphy, fine, but I also still want there to be some at-large teams in there. So it would be 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten, 2 Big 12, 2 ACC, 1 group of 6, and 3 at-larges. So you're not limited to those 4 teams. And then what I think that does is it could change conference championship weekend, and it could turn it into conference championship weekends. One of the things I think college football in general is trying to navigate, which might fly under the radar to the casual fan, is there is the second Saturday in December that has been historically reserved for the Army-Navy game. And now you expand this and you expand conference championship weekend to possibly 2 weekends. There's no way that the Army-Navy game has that Saturday to itself. That has been an American tradition, and now for the conferences to infringe on that, that changes the game. I know there's been some talk of possibly moving that game to the start of the season. I don't know.
I'd be on board. I think that would, honestly, I think it would behoove both. I think it'd be great for college football because that second Saturday in December, people want nothing more than more college football. And I think Army-Navy starting the season, it would still get all the attention.
I kind of think, I do wonder about that.
I think it's a perfect kickoff to college football. Like college football is so American, and you have the most American game you can have to start it off, as opposed to like, and not a shot either, but like I think the last couple of years it's been like Notre Dame in a foreign country, like kicking off the season. I don't think that has the same cachet as it would if it was the Army-Navy game to start the season, get people fired up for college football again. I think it'd be perfect. But it's never that simple.
No, you don't know what those academies are thinking in terms of tradition. We've always done it this way.
Sure.
We're going to continue to do it this way.
For sure. And it might get to a point where it's like you can move it, or we're going to have these games, and you're not going to have it on your own. Which would also stink.
The reasons for keeping the December date. The current date allows the game to be a popular conclusion of the college football season and provides a traditional, highly anticipated event. The AAC, which Army and Navy belong to, has stated the December date will not be changed.
So it seems like they're flexible about it.
No, not so much.
So the AAC is saying to the SEC and Big Ten, this is the deal. How do you like it?
Yeah.
And then the SEC and Big Ten might just go, okay, fine.
Yeah, it's kind of
they will.
Kind of what I'm nervous about.
They'll all say, how can we make the most money?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that will really matter to these people. It's the only thing that matters to the whole sport and most sports, frankly.
And
so however
people?
however they can make the most cash, that's what they'll do.
There's also a cottage industry, not even cottage, it's a huge industry of debating who should be in the college football playoff. And so you can have as many teams as you want. People are still going to debate, and it's always going to be fun. I love the debate of who should get in for the college football playoff.
They still debate on the NCAA basketball tournament.
How can you look these kids in the eyes?
Yeah, 68 teams got in. We got a shot. We're at least the 70th best team in the country.
The only good thing about Warson Woods is that it gives recent grads the ability to afford a home near good areas. That's from the self-made state home. No, we just weren't talking about it.
Not at all, we weren't.
Is there still movement to turn into the Gulf of Ladue?
There is, from Mr. Licks, he says a movement. They're trying to get past to flood Warson Woods and turn it into the Lake of Ladue.
Topographically? I don't know either one. I don't know if that's. It doesn't seem like they would have the elevation or the.
There was that area in Brentwood that used to flood. Remember that?
Oh, right by
before they tried to fix it. That could have been the Lake of Ladue.
Yeah, there it is.
Would you summer there?
I would. Yeah.
We got the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today coming up in a matter of moments. Email in. Chairman Kurt has made it clear. What are your policies, your guidelines for the emailers?
Yeah, it's tough to be long, but long and not funny just isn't going to make the cut.
Doug, long and not funny, you're not going to get through.
I wouldn't think so.
The morning after at InsideSTL.com. This is TMA, and it's presented to you by Brown and Crouppen on 101 ESPN.
This is Jackson with a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Cardinals back in action today following the loss to the Orioles yesterday. That's going to be a 5:35 first pitch with Andre Puente on the mound for the Cardinals. That was another Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
Doug, do you recognize this person who's celebrating a birthday today? This is Jackson Burkett's music theme.
Initials, please.
Not a birthday. But Doug said he hadn't heard the Heads Will Roll remix. So I figured I'd put him on game.
All right.
This was also in Project X, not Matthew Broderick's version, but the one from 2012.
All right. No, I had not heard that before. So it's nice to check that off the list.
Yeah, that was Miles Teller was in Project X playing himself.
And Miles Teller was in Whiplash with J.K. Simmons, and Jackson says it should have won Best Picture?
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, that year would have been Birdman? Yeah, it's better than Birdman.
But we found out a couple weeks ago that it doesn't really matter because it's all phony, too.
And the question is it better than Grand Budapest Hotel, which I would say no. But Miles Teller played himself in Project X 3 years ago today. Top Gun 2 Maverick came out. Miles Teller is the star of that. So full circle.
Absolute trash song. These themes are so ass. That's Eric in the Central West End.
He seemed to be a positive light. So
they should give Best Picture to probably the highest grossing movie because that's what the public thinks.
That's got to be one of the worst takes I've ever heard.
That's a good take. That's the only true measure of what the public likes.
You can have the Trolls movie win Best Picture. Nice.
If that's what the public likes.
Great for our culture.
The people vote. We found out that the people voting for the Oscars don't even watch the movies. They don't even have to watch the movies.
You guys are going to have to take, like people say, take this conversation offline. You're going to have to take this conversation offline.
Doug wants Inside Out 2 to be the best picture, or Deadpool and Wolverine.
If it was the highest grossing of that year, yeah.
That's such, oh my
because the public said, wow.
Beside himself.
The public said, wow, this is the best movie. We're going to go watch it. Otherwise, you're just judging it on someone's opinion.
A collective group's opinion.
A collective group who didn't even have to watch the movie.
Whatever. That's why that's such a bad take, bro.
That's all true, though.
It's time for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. How about that you're getting support, by the way, Jackson? Jackie Papers should be DJing down at Wheelhouse. Incredible mix. That's from Doug's favorite kink.
Heads Will Roll is that one that blew up. That and the Pursuit of Happiness remix from Project X were big.
You're still dancing there anyway. You might as well play some
all by yourself. Yeah.
Everybody's crazy about a sharp-dressed man, and today that man was Timothy Michael McKernan. Add the knowledge he shared with us, and we were just blessed. But this email is about the bum fun I experienced this past weekend.
What's that
I thought, great, just my luck. My first night as assistant manager at Mellow Yellow. Remember Mellow Yellow? Is that still a beverage? Or
I think
was that from the Coca-Cola family?
I thought it was like Coca-Cola's answer to Mountain Dew. It's like the same.
Mountain Dew's kind of its own.
I think that's
libation.
I think it's a Pepsi brand, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there.
Mellow Yellow?
No, Mellow Yellow is Coca-Cola's answer to Pepsi's Mountain Dew. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. But now, like Dr. Pepper, I think it's kind of, I don't know.
Whatever happened to 7-Up? Is that still a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Still around?
Sierra Mist got rebranded to Starry from the Coca-Cola brand.
But 7-Up used to be headquartered here in St. Louis. It used to be a real popular
7-Up shootout, high school basketball game.
I don't see it anymore.
When he meandered in my office, I pulled an audible. He was ruggedly handsome, so I just started making out with him.
Just like that.
As he pulled
you had
back,
no choice.
He laid this on me. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the Merrimack River and Lake Perry that you're used to. I know that you're going to have it your way or nothing at all, but I think you're moving too fast. Doug, that's from Gabe, and then the last name, I don't know about the whole thing.
Okay, Gabe, and then we don't know about the whole thing. He's new.
He's not new.
Peace and love, peace and love. Once again, I agreed with Doug when he opened today's show with his assessment of the current state of hip-hop. It just hasn't been the same since Bankroll Fresh was murdered.
Oh, R.I.P.
Gone too soon. Anyway, I enjoyed Steve's call this morning that brought to light that downtown St. Louis has gotten so bad. The only thing to do for entertainment is pop mushrooms as a grandfather and yell through a bullhorn at empty buildings and the commies that are walking around. Real shame his apartment doesn't face north, and he can yell at the fans who enjoy the team that plays in a distribution center in a league that will cease to exist the second the Rock's accountant tells him that wasn't a rounding error. You actually bought a league. Shout out Hot Rod, though. That's my guy. Quick house cleaning before Thursday's Dotem. Are you guys not running the promo from a few years ago where you Venmo a hot dog enthusiast, personal Venmo, in return you get promised a little something, something, and get called a douchebag? Just checking. That's from Al in Dadeville, winner of Cardinals tickets from July 2021's TMA Live for a game that was played 6 weeks earlier.
No, I couldn't have happened.
Al in Dadeville.
And young. KG looks cute. Thanks. And hashtag free perk. That's from number one Asian intern Brian Henshin, a.k.a. ASMR Ting Ting 2.0, the softly spoken ASMR star to the stars.
Brian Henshin.
Morning, boys. What in the hell's going on with this program? Tim and KG are dressed like extras in a Lifetime movie. Jackson's judging man-ass. Tuna Fish Vaughn's talking about log fumes. And where the hell is Martin? My head's spinning faster than Mr. Lick's cotton candy machine at the free zoo. Speaking of birthdays, happy birthday to my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, my ex-girlfriend, Andre 3000, and not Billy D. Williams. Now, let's all raise a glass to the meteoric rise of Big Tank. May his reign be long and girthy. That's from the D-Gen. From Jeffco.
D-Gen from Jeffco.
And finally, to Sadie Hawkins. Doug, the Cardinals lost to the Orioles, whose closer enters to the tune of The Farmer in the Dell, whistled by a deceased fictional stick-up man who frequently robs street-level drug dealers. The Hurricanes staved off elimination against the Panthers, but we're still not sure what Rod Brindamore's abs look like. Libby Jack was in Libby heaven at a Gen Z musical at the Fox, surrounded by uncouth Hoosiers who apparently wore their tractor pull best. But I think the lead is that woo, Katie Woo is named So Taguchi as the starting right fielder on the Cardinals all-quarter century team, despite starting just 43 games in right for the Cardinals, including the postseason.
43.
I don't know how Katie Woo is going to look Ryan Brass Monkey Ludwig or J.D. Drew or Larry Walker or Carlos Beltran or Lance Berkman or Jason Hayward or Stephen Piscotty or Jamry Hazelbaker or Dexter Fowler or Brian Barton or Brian Barden. Doug, there were two different guys. There was a Brian Barton.
I remember. Yeah.
In the eye and tell him he's not on the arbitrary list. Ours is the type of presentation where a 50-something serial who has had a crush on gluten-free Perk's mom feels free to drop in at any time and humble brag about the round of golf he didn't play because his neighbor forgot to book a tee time because he was high on mushrooms. But that don't matter because he'll still drop the names of the all-time great professional athletes like Albert Pujols and Wayne Gretzky that he didn't hang out with. That reminds me of the time I was supposed to play shuffleboard with Pat Jablonski and Paul Cavallini, but it fell through when my car got hit by the loop trolley when I was shrooming my balls off in Forest Park. That's from Buck Swope, DBA, the Recessed Ladies Breast, and that's what we have.
Buck Swope.
For the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today.
I thought Buck had a nice email, but I thought the best was Al in Dadeville.
I agree. I think Al in Dadeville was the best one today.
Dadeville, come Al.
Al in Dadeville is one. The Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. Design Air is online at designairservice.com.
Yeah, when it comes to heating and cooling, you got to trust the name that's been around longer than all of us, much longer. That's Design Air Heating and Cooling, proudly serving the area since 1904. That's more than a century of keeping homes comfortable and customers happy. They're not just another HVAC company. They are the longest-running sponsor on TMA, and that loyalty says a lot. Seth Goldkamp is the man there, a name you can trust, leading a team that truly values integrity. At Design Air, they believe in honest work. You'll never be sold something you don't need. Whether you're dealing with the St. Louis cold or the summer heat, they have got your back with dependable service and no-pressure solutions. Visit designairservice.com and schedule your service today. Design Air Comfort you can count on since 1904, and now the home of the handsome repairman.
Schaefer Door Company is the sponsor of our podcast. If you want to go back and enjoy the program today, Schaefer Door sponsors the podcast here on TMA. Online at schaeferdoor.com, SCHAEFER door.com. Call or text 636-782-3608. If you have any garage door issues, that's going to get you the quickest response time. They service all kinds of garage doors for service and new installs with LiftMaster. LiftMaster's garage door openers are strong, quiet, and versatile. They service commercial doors as well, so if you run a business or warehouse with big, tall doors, Schaefer is experienced in these types of jobs. Go to schaeferdoor.com or call or text 636-782-3608. Schaefer Door is a LiftMaster partner. BK and Ferrario are coming up next. Time for us to shut it down. For Jackson Burkett, for Chairman Kurt, for Martin Kilcoyne, for my brother Kevin, for Douglas Elvin Vaughn, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been TMA, presented to you by Brown & Crouppen on 101 ESPN and the TMA STL YouTube channel.